What's up, Nathan? How's it going, buddy? Just realized I had my mic on the ground. How's it going, Nathan? Just okay-ish? Not better than okay-ish? Maybe mildly spectacular, as it were? You can already tell this is going to be crazy exciting, by the way. That's a good point. It is Friday, isn't it? I keep forgetting that. You know, that whole thing called date and time and all that good stuff. Well, for those of you who are in here and you don't know what I'm doing, if the title isn't showing up, I'm editing my Making History scenario. The Great Wool, Making History the Great Wool, that's right. That's right. While listening to some Endless Legend music. Because it's fucking catchy. Well, I really wouldn't say catchy, but soothing. And I'm going to give the Italians Trentino. Eating pizza. We're going to turn this into a thing. You're going to your LFGs to play some 40k in Flames of War? The 40k in Flames of War part sounds pretty BA, but I don't know what an LFG is. LFGS, I don't know what that is. But I imagine it's pretty badass. You can tell I didn't write this because vicissitudes, I don't even know what the hell that means. I can imagine what it means, but specifically, I have no flippin' idea. Huh? Editing Commissar's booty. That's right. Touching it in ways it's never been touched. Bow chicka bow wow. What's up, Grumpy? How's it going, buddy? I'm just sitting here munching on pizza like a fat ass. Doing a little scenario editing. I've pretty much been doing this all day, is working on the scenario. Just setting up new countries, changing borders and shit. Lots of useful stuff. Looks like a little face with the tongue sticking out. As you can see, the United States has been divided into 4 countries. The Union of Socialist California, the Empire of Texas, the Democratic Republic of the Southern States, and the United States. Fun stuff. That was that scenario you were telling me about, wasn't it? You guys can hear my voice alright, right? I'm not just speaking and nothing's coming out. That would kind of suck. Yep, was that scenario. Ended shit up as my empire, France's empire, and Turkey's empire collapsed at once. Oh, damn, that's hardcore. That sucks, though. Well, Nathan, the purpose of the mod is to make the idea is they're supposed to be a bunch of smaller countries, to kind of create some more interesting scenarios instead of it just being like Russia, Germany, France, England, and the U.S. all dominating the landscape. Hence why there's so many new countries like the Crimean Soviet Republic, whatever socialist republic this one is, the Cuban Socialist Republic, the Federation of New Transylvania, I think, and yeah, like just that area alone, there's like 4 new ones. If we come down here, you've got Commissar's Djibouti, you've got Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, the Rifters Union, the Emirate of Kudai, I think, maybe. No, that's that one. This is the New Nubian Kingdom. That's what that is. I don't even fucking know who this is. Just South Darfur, the Sultanate of Darfur. That's who that is. Okay. And this. Oh, this is part of the Sultanate of Darfur as well. Okay, makes sense. Congo, Tanganyika, I guess. Yeah, I made that one too. The Kingdom of Basterland. That's a new one. What else did I add in? I made it the Free Cities of West Africa, which is basically just this conglomeration all the way over here. Liberia cuts the capital off from the rest, which could create for some interesting scenarios and challenges for the Free Cities of West Africa, considering their capital is literally surrounded by enemies and isolated from the rest of their country. So yeah. Then we've got the Mari Kingdom, which is supposed to be kind of a play off Mauritania, who they've spread all the way here. Again, carving up French colonial like holdings at the time. And you've got the Mars Berber Federation. Again, a bit of a play there. But see, this is actually based on the tribes, the Maris tribe and the Berber tribes in that region. This one here was actually a player, a subscriber requested this country be in. The Guernsey Caliphate. I think that's how you pronounce it. I added that one in because he basically just said it should be added in. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll throw it in there. So the idea is that these two countries, with the Guernsey Caliphate on the left and the Tunisian state on the right, are supposed to fight each other. The Guernsey Caliphate is a far more traditionalist kind of sect when it comes to Islam. And the Tunisian state is a more universalist perspective of Islam, where, you know, you don't necessarily have to believe exactly what they believe, but you know. So, yeah. Hold on a second. Let me fix the settings of the stream. It is not encoding the way it should be right now. Which is not good. It's all over the place. I don't know why it's uploading this like that. Yeah. But yeah, so there's rhyme and reason to this. I know it looks like just a bunch of blobs and shit, but I've actually got kind of a plan for certain things and how it's meant to be played out. South America is actually already so easily divided up into a bunch of different countries that if someone just played as one of them, it might make for some interesting gameplay alone. So yeah, I didn't really do anything with them. Really, I mean, between Brazil and Argentina, though, it may be tough to pick one of these guys and actually succeed. But then again, neither of them really have armies. So, I mean, you'd probably be fine. Maybe. Right, Nathan. Right. Basically, they're moderates and extremes. The guys in the east are the moderates, and the guys in the west are the extremists. So that's supposed to be the idea there. I was considering of changing Italian Libya into something else. Maybe just plain Libya. I've started to get less creative the more countries I add in, because I mean I've got so many countries I've already added in. It's getting hard to keep up with all of them. So like the Königsreich over here, there's another one. If we look at England, I've kind of divvied up some lands in England. This is the anarchy of Ireland. This country is meant to be impossible. You're not supposed to be able to play these guys and win under any circumstance whatsoever. Hence why I called them the anarchy of Ireland. Within 10 turns, they have a major rebellion, and it's always random who actually takes over. If it's going to be the socialists, if it's going to be the Democrats, if it's going to be a theocratic government that gets established in Ireland. Again, that's another purpose of that. It's supposed to be totally random. So, yeah. And then Scotland, obviously. You got Scotland. I just called it the Scotsman Republic, so I didn't have to call it Scotland, because, I mean, Scotland is just Scotland. Scotland, so, yeah. How many more times can we say Scotland in one sitting, right? Right. Again, probably the biggest change, I imagine, would be the U.S. as well. You've got the Alaskan Republic. Canada is now known purely as just Quebec. You've got the Democratic Republic of the Southern States, the Empire of Texas, and the Union of Socialists, whatchamacallit. That and Grumpy, that's kind of the idea. It's supposed to be that, because I don't know about you guys, but I get tired of playing the same scenarios over and over again. I mean, I've played World War I and World War II games to my sweetheart's content. So it's like I've played all these a million times. But I've never played one where Luxembourg is actually a major player, where you can actually do a lot of work with Luxembourg. So I decided to make Luxembourg powerful. And the story in the background is that Luxembourg actually saved the French during a war prior to this whole scenario. Like, the Germans went to war early with the French and were beating their ass, and then the Luxembourg came up behind the German army, even despite supposedly being neutral, and just kind of, yeah, it was like a big mercenary army or something. I don't remember specifically what it was. But needless to say, they came out and kind of, wiggled their dick around and slapped them in the face a few times. So now Luxembourg owns the Meuse, Alsace-Lorraine, technically the Rhineland area, and so on. So you've got that. The only country I really haven't nerfed is Austro-Hungary, just because it doesn't seem to matter. They're fine. I also added in the Kingdom of Buttery Bulgaria, for fans of the Buttery Bulgaria series. It does. That's why I like to play as so many different countries, especially, the whole reason I first played as Djibouti in Superpower 2 was because, hey, let me play as a country I've never played as before. And that turned out way better than I ever would have thought. So, that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I was thinking about, kind of chopping up India a bit more. I added 2 countries, 3 technically. The Mughal Empire, this one was already there, the Rajputana Agency, but I changed their flag, or not their flag, that's actually the flag that came with them. I made them not a subsidiary of the British Empire. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to give them a little bit more land. Where is it? The Raj. There we go. Yeah. I like that better. Yeah. We could almost go all the... There, no, that's fine. Wait, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go ahead and give them that whole region there. So there we go. There. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that works for me. Alright. But, yeah, so India's been divided up into a bunch of different countries as well. Again, it's supposed to kind of change up the gameplay a bit and let things happen. And nobody seems to have done this. There's a Shattered World scenario, but there's one thing playing as just singular thingies. And, then again, I haven't played it, so I don't really know 100% how it works for the sake of this. But I kind of wanted to add a bit of personality to it, add a little bit of a story. You know, the communist China actually exists. It's technically 1910, but they've taken over in this region anyway. But beforehand, and you know, you've got the Republic of China, then you've got the Fengtian State, you've got the Renbai Rui Dynasty, which owns this whole area here, Korea, Japan, the Hokkaido Union. You know, like I said, I just kind of divvied stuff up a bit. Yeah, Asia is definitely unstable. The one problem I've noticed in my playthrough, though, like, because I mean, I've done a whole series of it on the channel. I don't know if you've seen that, but Asia, nothing happened in Asia. The only thing that happened was at the start of the game. Immediately at the start, Tibet and Communist China went to war. And Tibet kicked Communist China's ass. Like, it was kind of weird to see them get beat so badly so quickly. And then what happened was there was the Nationalist Chinese Rebellion, which pretty much wiped out what was left of the Communist Chinese. And that was all that happened in Asia. Like, that was it. None of these countries went to war. None of them did anything. It was kind of disappointing. I mean, Japan did. Japan got involved in the war, the Great War. But, you know, nothing else really happened. Oh, and I added Vietnam as well. And the Philippines. I created the Philippines. So, yeah, Asia's been divvied up quite a lot as well. The still major power that exists here would probably be the Republic of China, Japan, and the Communist Chinese. But realistically speaking, they're all it's a pretty grab bag over in Asia. So there's a lot of stuff that could really go on, that could happen there, should somebody want it to happen. But again, the main goal of this mod, at first, was just to make Djibouti a playable nation. But so then I actually had to shape the storyline around Djibouti, like how it would work, because I mean, with Italy in the base version of the game, Italy owns all this area, so it's impossible to play as Djibouti and like try to do anything. So that's kind of the whole reason I added these, like, broke up these countries in the first place here, like Eritrea, Somalia, and Ethiopia. The whole reason they were added was so that Djibouti had the ability and the potential to take them over and move on from there, which worked out very well. I mean, again, you said you saw the series, so, like, yeah, I mean, I came down here, I took all this over, came down, took this over, and went and got all the way up here into the Ottoman Empire before Italy declared war on me and came in and just steamrolled my ass. So, but now, I mean, we've gone even more in depth with it, because now Italy, I weakened Italy a bit more, not much, mind you, just a bit more, and I also made the Sultanate of Egypt, so that's something that could happen as well. I think the Emirate of Kudai this is Jabal Shamar, that got destroyed last time. Like, no one even fucking saw these guys. So, yes, I actually gave Djibouti more technology as well, because that was also a major issue in the game, because it was just boring, like, in terms of the actual getting the technology. Like, I mean, it was 1915, and we had just gotten cavalry. Like, that, I mean, at the base idea that I had was a good one at first, and I thought it would have been better than it ended up being. But yeah, that did not work out the way I expected it to. So yeah, that's something. I might even give Djibouti more food, but I actually solved that problem before I ran out of food, which was impressive. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but considering, like, literally got down to about like 20 food left, and then I finally saved the food problem, which is what you see there in the 10th episode that I did, basically the final episode. So yeah, hordes of infantry. Yeah, Grumpy, that is one of the big things I like about Civ 4 as well. It's always it's a different experience. It's definitely a different experience compared to making for obvious reasons. Well, yeah. And I really like how they did the editor system in this too, because I mean, the base game already really promotes that type of gameplay, that ever-changing, flowing gameplay, that I love so much, and hence one of the big reasons I love making history, is because it's not like, you know, it's not like Hearts of Iron. I mean, if you play as any of the major countries in Hearts of Iron, the gameplay is pretty much the same every time you play it. I think that's subjective, Nathan. I think Civ 5 is simpler. Definitely simpler. It took them 2 expansions to get the game back to what Civ 4 already had. But I mean, it's, you know, it's all personal preference, I suppose. The combat system's interesting. I think nukes are terribly overpowered in Civ 5, and considering in Civ 4 they weren't, because you could get an SDI and shoot nukes down. So it's kind of disappointing that there's no real way to shoot down nukes. Both games have their strengths, essentially, is what I'm getting at. Like, I love both games, Civ 4 and Civ 5. I play Civ 5 because it feels like a faster paced game. It doesn't take as long. But Civ 4, I play for the depth, the complexity. Because Civ 4 has way more complexity than Civ 5 ever had. Which was kind of disappointing for me, but yeah, whatever, no big deal. Yeah, and Sheila, sorry for the late response. This is kind of me ranting and talking more so than editing. I mean, I've done a lot of this with this scenario today. I don't even really know what else I'm going to do to it. It feels pretty done, I guess. I really need just people to play it and like give me their opinion, like what do they think's OP, if it's so on, if there's something that needs to be changed. I mean, at this point in time, I've added so many countries in that I'm probably not going to take any countries out or revert backwards, but like as for balancing, that's always something I can do. If a country needs more land, if a country needs less land, so on, that's pretty much how I would do it. Hold on one second, I'm gonna let my dog out. Come on. Alright, sorry about that. Letting the old pups out. But yeah. Yeah, Gandhi is just a freaking trip in all the Civ games, man. Just always nuking people and shit. No shame. No shame. Italian Libya. I think that looks better with them actually owning that land there rather than Egypt having it. Yeah, that looks better. I like that. No, I believe it. Gandhi, man, he is a nuker. That, like, they've actually did a study about it because it's always been a joke about Gandhi being like he nukes everybody. And there's actually somebody who went and looked into the code, like the actual game's code, and found that he's coded to basically nuke people twice as, or it was like twice or 4 times as much as everybody else. So it's funny shit. Shit. Nobunaga's ambition. Okay. Got a lot of peaceful beliefs, nukes everybody who is not peaceful. Pretty much. What's up, Luxembourg? How's it going, man? How close is making history to a game like Supreme Ruler? Supreme Ruler is infinitely more complicated than this game is. Don't get me wrong. I love Supreme Ruler Ultimate. It's a hell of a lot of fun once you figure out how to play the game. This game is a lot simpler. Like, all the making history games are a lot simpler, and they allow for more varied gameplay. I like to look at making history as more of a more in-depth version of Axis and Allies, whereas Supreme Ruler is a more in-depth version of Superpower 2. Like, Supreme Ruler is more of a geopolitical simulator, as opposed to making history, which is more of a turn-based war game thing. So yeah, that's kind of the way I look at those. And hey man, what happened to playing Nobunaga's Ambition? Well, I stopped playing Nobunaga's Ambition for a multitude of reasons. A, I was doing way too many series at once, and I was having a lot of trouble keeping up, especially with school and whatnot. Now that school's done, that's not so much the case for the next month. But yeah, I was having trouble keeping up, and I decided to focus purely on one series a week. Nobunaga's Ambition has never been super popular on the channel, so it's one that I might coincide with another one again and continue on from where we were. But at this moment in time, there's just not enough people who watched it. Like, that's kind of the disappointing part about it. I mean, it was barely breaking 100 views a week. Just one video, barely breaking 100 views. So I mean, that's kind of where I make a basis on whether a series is worth continuing or not. I mean, if the comrades aren't watching it, then obviously they'd rather see something else. So that's kind of how I base my stuff. Like that little Legacy of Dorne, the Herald of Oblivion, little just narration, that terrible narration I was doing. No one's watching it. So unfortunately, despite the fact that I enjoy it, I'm not going to continue it. Just because people aren't watching, there's no point to make it. Because, I mean, that's what I'm here for, is to entertain you guys and have fun while I do it. And I'm not having fun if my comrades aren't getting involved and, you know, playing and watching it with me. So, yeah, I mean, to put it kind of bluntly, I don't mean to sound like a dick about it or anything, but that's just kind of how it is. There we go. Hold on. Libya. Alright. God, I'm giving Libya a pretty nasty army. Okay, we're just going to delete this one. Yeah, let's just delete that one. Oh, okay, well, I can't delete it. How do I delete it? There you go. Remove. Yes. Yes. Oh, and they had the artillery. Alright, Libya doesn't need the artillery. Alright, so, see, that's... Okay. Civ Beyond Earth is a disappointment. Absolutely. Alpha Centauri is not. Exactly, Luxembourg. Like, early on, it was like a bug, and it was just something that they decided to keep. Alright. Gandhi nukes everyone because, yeah. Civ 5 in space is Beyond Earth, pretty much. And, yeah. Beyond Earth was disappointing. I haven't played the newest expansion, but it was definitely disappointing. Because it could have been so much more. It could have been so much more. Still waiting to play Alpha Centauri. You know, I've played a little bit of Alpha Centauri, but I never actually full-on got in depth with it like I did Civ 3 and Civ 4 and Civ 5. It just came out, like... I didn't play it when it was new, so... And I'm glad you understand, like I said, it's not that I wasn't enjoying it, because I was. Like, there's very few series that I don't actually enjoy when I get to playing them. Like, I can't think of one that was just, like, ripping my soul out to play, honestly. I think, because generally I'll stop playing it. Like, if it's just not fun, I'm not enjoying myself, I'll just stop it. That's kind of like what happened with the Dragon Rising. The Dragon Rising it was fun, but I mean, it was too easy. So it was kind of like, I just didn't feel like playing it anymore. It was just too easy. Victoria 2, I know I said I was going to play as Russia, but I decided I don't want to. Russia is too overpowered in Vic 2. Not overpowered. They're not overpowered. As opposed to the other European powers, they're not. But I think it's so much more fun to pick a country that's small or underdeveloped or something and turn them into a superpower. That is what I love to do with these types of games. I really enjoy that because there's so much story there. It's not just you being smarter than the AI. It's kind of like you really build a story starting from nothing, and you build it up from there, and just you make your country powerful, and it's just so awesome. Like, again, the reason why The Rise of Djibouti was probably one of my favorite series of all time, like, especially not just the fact that it's my most viewed one, but also the fact that it was so much fun to play as a country I'd never played as before, and just kick a bunch of ass, and yeah, it was great. It was great. So, if you had to pick one DLC for Civ 5, what would you get? Well, I already own all the Civ 5 DLC, except for a couple of the map packs, because I don't care about the map packs. All I really tend to play anyway is, what's that shit called? The continents. I like continents. If you could try Mountain Blade. I could. The problem is, I've been playing Mountain Blade since it first came out. Like, not Warband. I'm talking about the original Mountain Blade. When it first came out, like, what, almost 10 years ago? Like, when it was still in the alpha stages, like the beta stage, and that long period of time it was in the beta stages and whatnot. So, like, Mountain Blade, I've enjoyed my times with it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I don't know. I get bored of it quickly nowadays just because I've just played so much of it. It's like the burnout is real. That Napoleon Wars DLC was a lot better than I thought it was, because I bought it when it first came out, never played it until I did that stream that Shoeless is talking about, and that was quite a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, and I might even do like kind of a comrade-wide thing with that one day, where I just be like, hey, come play some Mountain Blade Warband Napoleonic Wars with me. So that's very, very much a possibility. Now, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, I am counting down the days, my son, let me tell you. I cannot wait for that to come out and get back in, start playing Mountain Blade, see what kind of improvements they've made. I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. What kind of thing are you trying to make this map? I know I keep just clicking around and I'm not doing anything. It's because I'm really getting into talking about myself because I'm egotistical like that. Just kidding. Sort of. But anyway. Not really. But basically, as I mentioned previously, the main goal of this is to take the base scenario of making history, the Great War, and weaken the major powers significantly, because we've all played we've all played games about World War I, we've all played games about World War II, where it's always about Germany, it's always about Russia, it's always about the US, it's always about France, it's always about the UK. We've always done that, and I mean, even I gotta admit, I get bored of that sometimes. I want to try out something different. So that's kind of what this mod is involved into, is creating new countries for players to play as you can see here, like kind of carving bits and pieces of Russia, for example, just to make some more stuff for people to play as, for more things to do. And if you look at these countries, they're all relatively balanced. Like, although the Crimean Soviet Republic has a lot of land and quite a few cities, they're kind of spread out, and its army is smaller than the new Federation, or the Federation of New Transylvania here, which has a pretty decent sized army for being such a small country. Yet it still doesn't quite rival Romania, but it could, arguably speaking. And then you got the Kingdom of Buttery Bulgaria. And so you kind of get the idea, is that it's kind of bringing these guys down into weaker categories, so that it leads to a little bit more interesting warfare. Kind of, and honestly, a big part of it is kind of an experiment to me, to see who goes to war with who does what happens, so on and so forth, and to see what can be created out of the world, because I really want to see like who wins, basically, and if you put all these people together, like who can win it, who could win it all. So like, I mean, just like right here in Africa, the initial idea of this mod was purely to add in Djibouti. That was it, so that I could play as Djibouti on my time. Like I mean, I could play Making History: The Great Wars Djibouti. But I quickly realized that playing as a one province nation is pretty much impossible in this game without some sort of hand feeding just a little bit. So I added in Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, the New Nubian Kingdom, the Rifters Union, the Sultanate of Darfur, and the Emirate of Kudai, so that you kind of had some variety there. Like, you could go to war with these guys, you could fight these guys, and see what happens. Arguably speaking, the way this has all been cut up, you could take over the whole of Africa with no problem. An unforeseen consequence of being focused mainly in Africa, though, is food shortages. So, those food shortages actually lead to you having to find more fertile lands, which is actually kind of an interesting mechanic that kind of happened in the game, that is relatively unexpected. So sorry about that. Let me read the comments now that I'm done off my tangent. Okay. I love Mountain Blade Napoleon Stream. Warband with the Florist mod or Perisno mod is awesome. I haven't actually played those. The mod I used to love playing was I think it was called the Lords of the Realm, like, mod, I think? I don't know, I don't remember. It's kind of an old one. It probably doesn't even exist anymore. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's back when pikes were still really powerful. Did they say the release date for Bannerlord? I don't think so. I know it's going to come out in 2016, I'm pretty sure. At least some sort of open beta that people can play. Would you ever have time playing Man of War Assault Squad 2? It just says you can be Russian communist. That game is a lot of fun. I've thought about it, but there's two problems. It refuses to work on a live stream, for one. And my recording software doesn't work with it for some reason, I think. There was a reason why I haven't done any actual recorded footage of Men of War Assault Squad 2. I don't remember why. I know for a fact, though, it does not work on a live stream. It does not work with OBS, which is incredibly frustrating. But it is a hell of a lot of fun. It's a fun game. And something else was a lot of people do it. A lot of strategy gamers do it. I guess it's just one of those games that strategy gamers do. I don't really know. I loved Archipelago and Fractal in Civ 4. Pretty sure I prefer COD in Civ 5 though. Navy stuff just feels pointless in Civ 5. Yeah, navies are. I feel like in Civ 5 they really did a great job balancing everything out, except for, well, yeah, they did a great job balancing everything out. But see, that's kind of a problem. Like when everything is so super balanced that no one can win. It gets weird. It's weird. I don't know. Djibouti, World War Power. Have you played To End All Wars? I know what you're talking about, but no, I have not played it. I think it's Asiad, one of the Slytherin game, I think. But no, I have not. Oh, we're talking about if I'm communist or not. I'll get to that. What are you doing with Austria? It looks kind of big. Yeah, see, the thing about Austria is despite the fact of their size, they, for some reason, just suck. Like, they never do anything. It's hilarious. Lockmock, do you believe in communism, or is it just the name of your channel? The name of my channel actually came from... Here's a nice little story. Get comfortable, kiddies. You're going to hear a little story from the Commissar, bro. Commissar, bro, the name actually came from... Because, you know, I got to be difficult. I can't just explain it easily and say yes or no. The name Commissar, bro, actually came from... Back when I used to play Empire at War the original, when it first came out when I was still in middle school, my name was like OMFG the Pizza Man, which is a name I still use today. And then I started using a name called Commander Brad, because my name's Brad. Then when I started playing Dawn of War, I would always forget I would always forget stuff, or for something, just Forces of, or Empire at War had a really shitty online service, so I would always have to change new names. So eventually I called myself Commander Bro, Commander BR, so on and so forth. And then when I started playing Dawn of War, or when I first played Dawn of War Winter Assault and played as the Imperial Guard, I loved the Commissars. So that's actually where the name Commissar came from, was that, I mean, I knew about, you know, the Soviets and their commissars and all that stuff like that. Yeah, I already knew that. I'm a history buff, so that just comes natural. But Commissar itself actually came from Warhammer 40k, because I fucking loved the Commissars from the Warhammer 40k IP. They're awesome. They're covered in red and black and gold, and they just, like, they fucking wreck ass. And it's the whole idea of a commissar being a strict authority figure, being like, you have a general, sure, but who's more terrifying, a commissar or the general? The commissar shoots you in the back of the head if you try to run away. So to me, that was always the thing. And even then, my channel, like, there was a lot of art kind of things that I was gonna go with for my channel, but my buddy, for, like, I asked him to make some art for me just to use as a placeholder, and he's like, okay, and he kind of made he made it into the communist aesthetic, the whole red and gold and Soviet Union type thing, and that's just kind of what I've carried with since then. You probably noticed, though, now that my channel is far less communist than it was before, because I mean I don't like to get into politics. We could talk about politics all day long, and everyone's going to disagree, or so on and so forth, about how things should work, how things should run. But when it comes down to it, to have the perfect system for everybody, I could not even tell you what it would be. Honestly, I'm probably more of kind of an authoritarian than I am anything else, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so... Now, what have I missed? What have I missed? Okay, wait, alright. Damn, this scroll wheel is terrible! Alright. I feel like playing... Wait, huge-ass Prisno... Okay, there we go. Persino in fantasy. I see a huge-ass map with 6 nations, and you could ride dragons. What's up, Hot Rod? How's it going, buddy? King Shoeless, hey. Now with all the talk of communism, feel like playing Red Alert 2. I know, right? Red Alert 2 is fucking awesome. Yeah, it's AGI, pretty fun. Gets popcorn. I really have to get the 40k MMO. Yes. Yes, you do. Because I'm recording this, like this is being recorded right now, I am not at discretion to talk about how amazing the Warhammer 40,000 MMO is or is not. So just take that as you see. Whether you think it's really, really good or if it's not that. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll let you guys think about that. I'm not going to talk about that for an hour. Let's just say, I feel that a lot of people... What's up, little gamer? How's it going, buddy? I feel like a lot of people really like that particular person because he's not afraid to say things. That doesn't mean what he's saying is right, because it's not, but I guarantee that's like the only thing, is because people are just fed up with all the political correctness that exists, especially in the United States nowadays, is how politically correct everyone has to be about everything, which I understand. I understand why people don't like to be politically correct, and why they would rather speak their mind and not be considered a bigot or an evil person for having an opinion. And it kind of goes back to that whole discussion of, yeah, Americans say we're free and whatnot, that we kind of preach on that, and a lot of foreigners, people who are not of American descent, don't agree with the American philosophies, and a lot of times it's understandable why not, and so on. But the whole idea comes back to Americans being able to having the right to freedom of speech and so on and so forth. And yet, because of all this political correctness and this censorship that people impose upon other people nowadays, is kind of heart-wrenching for a lot of people, basically. That in itself is just what I'm saying is political correctness. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. What lakes? These bodies of water? Always? Okay. You gotta remember, though, look at him more as an actor than a political candidate. Because of the fact, in an economy that is literally, and I'm going to try my best not to get political here. I mean, it's already kind of going that route. But Trump, as a cartoon character, is great. Trump as a presidential candidate, as someone who has the potential to be elected to that office based on popular, well, not really, I mean, hopefully the Electoral College, even if he does win the popular vote, hopefully the Electoral College is like, nope, fuck that. Like they did with Gore and Bush. So, yeah, let's hope that happens. Anyway. Yeah, don't worry, Hot Rod. I'll just say this one piece and I'll call it, and I won't talk about politics anymore. But basically, what I'm getting at here is he's just, in an economy that is literally devoted to globalization, like, we would not be half as rich as we are if it wasn't for the fact that we have markets, that we've opened up these markets in other places, and just the flow of goods between hundreds of countries. That's where we get our wealth. Our wealth doesn't come from isolationist policies. Closing your border to anyone is stupid in today's age and society. Look at North Korea, a prime example of a country with closed borders and just a terrible fucking mess because of, well, aside from its severe indoctrination upon its citizens and whatnot. But again, that could go all manner of ways. And now I'm not saying, I will say who you're voting for. I will let you know come election cycle. Probably not. And compared to other candidates, it's easily better. I will take, and I'll tell you this right now, I would rather take a candidate who keeps his mouth shut than a candidate who threatens to ban 1.6 billion people from being able to enter our country because of a minority of 100,000 people across a 7 billion person population, if you get what I mean. Like, that whole idea that all Muslims are terrorists is stupid. Absolutely stupid. That is something I will staunchly stand behind. 2020 elections, Kanye. That's just Kanye West, Trump's hair. It's not even gonna be Donald Trump. It's just gonna be his hair competing at that point. Well, it's because with politics, they're new H-bombs. They are, dude, North Korea. I love North Korea. They are just a trip. In the UK, they tried banning Trump from entering. I do not blame them. I do not blame them at all. He is just taking away votes. Yeah, I mean, socialism's not always that bad. Again, I'm not saying it's 100% the right way to go in any situation. But I mean, just take, the American military. The way it operates is through socialism. And a lot of veterans, after they get out of the military, have trouble coping with civilian life because of the structure and the order that comes from being a military person. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt, if you will. I mean, they wouldn't lie or anything, right? No, North Korea would never lie to us. Come on, they're always telling us the truth. Dude, Canada has just got it going on up there. Like, I have not heard anything bad about Canada in a while. And Hillary is most certainly crazy. I agree with you. I do not like Hillary at all. And damn it. I'm trying not to go political here. You bastards. We shuffle. We completely reshuffle. Or re-roll. That's what I'm thinking. We re-roll our candidates. I'm okay. And see, the thing about Hillary too is, though, I'm okay with a woman being president. I'm perfectly fine with that, I think men and women are both capable at the same things. Now, I can understand why, like in a combat situation or something like that, you generally go with the man over the female just because of the strength thing. But at the end of the day, men and women can pretty much accomplish whatever they put their mind to. So as far as a woman actually being president, I'm perfectly fine with that. Just not Hillary. Not at all. Yeah, hey, I am perfectly okay being elected. See, the problem is, again, I believe in the whole authoritarian mentality that one person can do the job way better than 1,000 people. Until, like, one really dedicated person. Until they die, and then their heir takes over and then ruins it up for everybody because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Obama got Time Person of the Year for Time Magazine, too, when he first got elected. I get, it's pretty cool to have a black president when he first got elected. He wasn't who I was voting for. But, it's the whole idea of it. Really, it goes to show that, we're not the country we were 50, 60 years ago. But the fact that he got Person of the Year for Time Magazine, the same thing that has been shared with real philanthropists and people who've really made major changes. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, I wouldn't be a Stalin. Don't worry, I wouldn't be a Stalin. I wouldn't want 4chan as president. No. I wouldn't want Putin as a president either. He's just doing what he has to do to keep supporting his country. Technically, Mao Zedong killed more of his own people than anybody else. As far as the estimates go, they range between about 30 million and 60 million. And some have even gone so high as to say 150 million based on potential babies that weren't born. But, One thing that I will always say, though, as an American citizen, whether I like the president or not, that does not change the fact that I respect that office. So although I don't agree with his policies, that doesn't necessarily mean I don't like him or, I don't respect him or whatever. I'm loyal to my country at the end of the day. I think Stalin was actually pretty intelligent. Like, yeah, I don't see color. Like, I grew up in Germany, and I mean, just like when I on the military bases and whatnot, and like race was never a thing until I moved to South Carolina. And then all of a sudden, apparently, there's a difference between a black person and a white person, which is something I never understood. I think that's stupid. People do what people do. People are what people are. Who cares what color somebody is? Who cares? Honestly, who cares even what country someone comes from or like what their ethnic origin is? I mean, it's always cool to know your actual history and your background. Like, I mean, I know that I'm Cherokee, Scottish, and Irish. I know that, and I find pride in my history, but that doesn't mean that supersedes my fact that I'm the fact that I'm an American citizen. I'm an American citizen at the end of the day. So nonsense, just like people always get riled up about that shit. I don't get it. My uncle had a cat called Mussolini. Old man, my uncle was. We blame famines on the government only when it's a communist government. People don't blame Churchill for the Bengali famine, even though he had infinitely more responsibility than Stalin in Ukraine. Okay. I want to point out about Stalin. Now this is the thing. With Stalin doing the whole collectivized farming and whatnot, yes, there's definitely a lot of blame to be put on his shoulders. Do I think he was actively going out of his way to starve his people? No. Do I think he's gone out of his way to murder opponents and military leaders? Yes, I do believe so. And because Stalin was always known as an incredibly paranoid man. Especially because you got to remember, this is a dude who rose from he was a serf. He was the son of a serf at the bottom of the food chain in Russian society. And this dude, getting stuck in with the wrong crowd, still managed to rise from the dregs of Russian society and become the most powerful leader, pretty much the most powerful leader of Russia at the time. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. So in doing so, he definitely didn't come by that way through goodly means. I mean, look at the United States, for example. Even though we have our whole democratic crap we've got, that doesn't mean that somebody who's actually good and has good ideas is going to be the leader of our country, as has been shown quite a few times throughout our history. That though there are people out there who do know how to make things better, who probably could do a better job than who we've got, they don't have the money to get there, and that's kind of their issue. I don't know who Chomsky is. You keep you keep saying Chomsky, and I have no idea who Chomsky is. Also, I'm gonna save this because I'm pretty much done with this scenario. I mean, it's just gonna get uploaded again. So I guess what we'll do is I'll actually boot it up so we can take a look at it. An anarcho-syndicalist. Explain that to me. What is an anarcho-syndicalist? I imagine him being with anarcho in his name. He doesn't believe government should exist. That people would survive and be fine without government. I'd like to know what the rest was. I don't know about that, Z-Toner. Yeah, that's an interesting theory. Not one I subscribe to myself. An interesting one, nonetheless. I agree with that, Hot Rod. I think the next president should be like those that Maze Runner movie. They should be able to survive the maze. If you want to lead this country to greatness, you got to survive the maze. Petito, no. Federalism is the idea that the central government is the supreme, like, it basically gets the final word on it, the final say. Like, federalism is kind of focused on the idea of a central government, yet at the same time, there's like, organization below that. I could probably sound totally retarded right now, but that's basically what the gist is. Is this recording? Oh, right, sorry. And I'm kind of cleaning up my desktop here so I can focus more specifically on the conversation. I could go for an awesome burger. Yeah, I could go for an awesome burger. Well, I just ate 2 slices of pizza, so I'm good. Alright, so this is the actual scenario in action. As you can see, the United States starts out OP as fuck, as per usual, in all of these games with a absolutely donkulous amount of shipping capacity. This is why I don't like to play as the US in video games. We're just so overpowered, it's not even fun. It's like why are we so powerful? Look at this! Look, it's 1910, and the United States already can build aircraft hangars and industrial shipyards and shit. It's just like, What? It's just what? They just got so much tech. It's like, it's not even fair. So many cities and so much industry. Oh, America's OP. We OP, man. We OP. Expanding output. Yeah. Medium rail density. All I know is that if I ever get to become a dictator, we're going to have a bizarre country on our hands. It'd be Britain in our prime. Victorian mixed with Soviet imagery. I'd make old kin look same. Be broken up in confederations who would cooperate. That's what the United Nations is. America. Fuck yeah. America. Terrorists. Kill all white men. No, let's not do that. let's not kill anybody. Let's all get along. Hold hands. Talk about each other's feelings. That's the world I would much rather live in than the one where the white man dies. Because, you know, I'm seem to be white. Coming to save the motherfucking day, yeah. America, fuck yeah. God, US, you're just so OP. Blood for the blood gods, skulls for the skull thrones. Skull thrones. All men must give up their left testicles tribute. Phenomenal. Oh wow, don't rush to end your turn now, Germany. Look at that. Look, the United States is already... There's like barely any research left. That's... they're just like... It's like done. God, I need to nerf them. The US needs to be nerfed. I thought splitting them into 4 different countries was nerfing enough. No, I was fucking incorrect. I mean, they basically start out with almost tanks. It's nonsense. It's completely nonsensical, if you know what I mean. If you grasp exactly what I'm saying. It's a good thing though that the U.S. doesn't have a lot of oil now, because the whole being split up thing really seemed to work out in terms of the lack of oil. I'm basically just going to end turns because I really just want to see what happens to the world. I don't much care for what... Oh, wow, there's like a lot of stuff being said. I'm missing it. The UN is broken. Taiwan is being blocked by China. I don't really have an opinion on Taiwan, to be honest. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm aware of the whole situation, but... Blood for the blood gods, skulls for the skull throne. No offense, America, but if you guys ever come to liberate a country I'm living in, I'm getting the first flight out of there. Wow. I doubt we'll ever be liberating Canada. Oh man. Probably a good idea, mate. No kidding. Would too. As long as you're not in the Middle East, I think you're fine. Hopefully. Chicken. Then it would be chicken. Nerf. Thing I've eaten my whole life. Still, I'd rather watch from afar. Probably isn't a good place to begin with. Probably not. Where you all guys from this chat? I'm Argentinian. I'm from the great state of South Carolina in the United States of A. Sir, that is where I'm from. Pleased to meet you. Actually, I'm surprised if I haven't actually mentioned that before in a video you guys have noticed. I would be impressed because I kind of don't shut the fuck up. I just keep talking. Like I've got this itch to just keep saying things that are on my mind. Din 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 din. All right, just in another turn. Well, see, the thing about the United Nations, if they gave everyone equal voting shares like they did with the League of Nations, the fucking nations would just leave. The only way to make them work together is to have like the main council nations actually having a vote strong enough to veto all the others. That's the only thing that keeps that organization running. I mean, when it comes down to it, every country is just looking out for themselves. So, I mean, it's really hard to be like, I mean, how could you make it better? Like, if someone vetoes, everyone else goes to war with them? I mean, there's really no better way of doing it. You just got to veto and, oh, look, see, there's a good old war going on in South Carolina. Carolinia. Who are these people? The Protestant rebels. All right. Phenomenal. What, Canada? I doubt it. I feel like the US and Canada, their economies are so intertwined with each other that there's literally no reason for the United States to go to war with them. Like, I mean, it's just simple as that. There would have to be some really raunch shit happen in the next, couple of years for that to really, really happen. Quebec. Let's spread that liberation. Good old American liberation. Do I seriously not have any recruitment centers? That's mind-boggling. More recruitment centers for the front, sir! Bring it! Oh shit, the rebellions are already starting. The Kingdom of China started a rebellion against Communist China. Support for theology has increased in the United States of A. Oh my. Oh my. It's not good. Not in the least, my dear comrades. It's not good. God damn! Communist China! Whoa! Whoa! Ho, 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 ho. Where's the Communist Chinese army? Is it these guys? Is this the Communist? Wow, wow. That is something else. That is special. I guess the Communist Chinese are just not meant to exist. I wouldn't care. All they are is an annoyance with good skiing locations. Esprit culture. Quebec is the Texas of Canada. I don't think Texas is that bad. Separate. Like Scotland, all they are angry Scotsmen with a little oil. the length of autonomy. The world's gone mad. Take that, China. I'd be downplayed if they weren't given some. I swear, if I got time travel amongst the past to not ever make Quebec a province. Oh good, Basterland didn't get destroyed. I'm glad. Look at these dudes. Looking like freaking... looking like Rhodesia. These dudes just rocking the shorts. Still got the backpack though. I got my backpack and my shoulders with my gun. Going to war. Don't even need a shirt. Nah, don't even need a shirt. It's too hot. It's too hot. Don't need a shirt. Look at these dudes. The Shire? This is the Shire. What? I didn't. That's interesting. That's interesting. Northern Ireland has been incorporated into Ireland, the Anarchy of Ireland. The idea here is that there's supposed to be a big civil war that pops off in Ireland that pretty much destroys it and turns it into something else. You're leaving Luxembourg? Thanks for coming, man. I will see you next time, bruh. See, look at that. Like, it's just turning into a nice, sexy, sweltering mess over there in Ireland. Which is meant to be the point. It's supposed to be something they can't really do anything about. There's Scotland. Or the Scotsman Republic. More appropriately named, as it were. The Königsreich. Which... apparently... people want to revolt. The Königsreich army is ridiculous. Look at that. My goodness. They're actually probably one of the most powerful countries in the world. They could... yeah, look at that. Seventh. They have the 7th largest military. Impressive. Very, very impressive. I thought you meant stupid. No. No, not me. I didn't say anything was stupid. Unless you guys were talking about something else that I missed. Which is entirely possible. Entirely possible. I'm so bummed out. They destroyed my army called... oh, there it is. Look, see, I made an army called the Soviet Cossacks. It was like 10 divisions of mobile infantry. So, I like how everything's turning out. They're actually spreading their troops out and establishing borders. I don't know if they're actually going to go to war with each other. I hope they do. Like in the playthrough on the channel there, where Buttery Bulgaria and the Ottoman Empire went to war. Completely unscripted. I love that. That was great. I was very happy that happened. Made it far more interesting. And actually showed the capacity of a country to take over somebody else. See you later, Nathan. Thanks for watching, man. Okay, Nick Hickman. This is my scenario for the people who haven't heard me say it before. This is the scenario I made specifically for this game. I actually have created a bunch of new countries. This is actually 1910, so that's kind of where this is happening. See you later, Z-Toner. So you've got like the Huescatane Republic, you've got Scotland, you've got the Anarchy of Ireland. And the story of Ireland is supposed to be... or, sorry, Luxembourg. The story that Luxembourg is supposed to be is that a few years prior to the events that are currently going on, Germany went to war with France and was, like, beating the tar out of France. And Luxembourg rose up with a mercenary army to the rear of the German lines, cut their supply lines and whatnot. And... defeated the German army, at least forced an unconditional surrender, so it gained control of the Palatinate, the Rhineland, and the lands it had occupied in Belgium. And France let them occupy the Meuse and Alsace-Lorraine. That's one of the few countries I actually kind of have an established story for. The Königsreich is the idea supposed to believe
or the Königsreich is supposed to basically be like after that war. A lot of Prussians were pretty pissed off that the war was lost, and that the leadership gave up so easily. So they established the Königsreich, which is supposed to basically just be Prussians. Um, and that's kind of what it's supposed to be. Because somebody asked, hey, could you put Prussians in the game? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So I put them in there. Um, and yeah, that's kind of something too. I want the powers to actually have more chokeholds. Luxembourg is meant to be a giant deterrent state. That means that if France goes to war, they'll have to find another way into Germany, and Germany will have to find another way into France, aside from Germany just coming in here and steamrolling France, or France just coming in and steamrolling Germany, and then it being occupied. So, oh, I have created a lot of states in the Middle East. Oh, you mean no? I'm lying. Okay, wait, sorry, Middle East. I left the Ottoman Empire the way it is because so many rebellions pop up with the Ottoman Empire anyway that I feel like it adds challenge to someone who's playing as the Ottoman Empire, because all of these countries are created with the idea that someone will eventually play with them. So the Ottoman Empire in this case is already pretty tough to play as because of the constant rebellions, the threat from buttery Bulgaria to the top left, the threat from Russia, and even the Cuban Socialist Republic, and so on. I did make the Emirate of Jabal Shamar here, though. I'm pretty sure I made these guys. I don't remember if I did or not, honestly. But needless to say, they're there. I buffed up their army a bit. Well, I thought I did. I guess I didn't save it. Okay, well, I meant to buff up their army a bit to be sort of a kind of internal threat to the Ottomans. And I added Yemen. I didn't really want to create a unique name with them. I just made Yemen. And there's also, for the player who plays as Djibouti, oh, it was already there? Jabal Shamar was already there? Okay, then never mind then. I thought I added that one. I've added so many countries that I don't really remember. Because I know I've added a couple of emirates, like down here, the Emirate of Kudai. I don't remember where the other one is. There's another one around here somewhere. But anyway, the main purpose it was originally created for was to be, you were supposed to play as Djibouti. And initially, Italy owns all this area, so there's literally nothing you can do as Djibouti. It's not fun at all. So I decided to make it a little bit more fun. I broke these pieces of Italy up. I think Ethiopia was already there, but these regions were all controlled by like European powers, I'm pretty sure. So needless to say, Somalia and Eritrea, and again, I don't remember if Ethiopia was there already or not, but again, these countries were created to basically be countries that Djibouti would take over. You generally want to start by taking Eritrea first, and then go and take Somalia, and then if you can, take over the Dervish state, and from there take over Ethiopia, maybe move south into the Rifters Union, or take over the New Nubian Kingdom, then the Sultanate of Darfur, and then the Emirate of Kudai. It's kind of was what it was meant to be. What it turns more into, because of the external pressure, that is the actual pressure that's caused from you declaring war on so many people, is the European powers were getting really sketchy about it, and that's what caused in my series for Italy to declare war on me, which in turn led to my epic war against the Ottoman Empire ending and me losing all that land all the way down to just these little tiny regions here. And now the game kind of stands to where you can't do much more as Djibouti. Like, you can try, but you'll just piss off. Like, I'm allied with the allies, but still there's not much I can do. Like, it's kind of set in stone. So that was the whole purpose of this, was to focus on Djibouti. So yeah, and it is in the Steam Workshop. This new updated version is not. Like, this is the most recent version that I'm working on right now. It has not been uploaded. The entirety of West Africa has been completely changed. as compared to the old version. Like there's the free cities of West Africa that have been added as a faction. I think the Kingdom of Mali was already there. The Kingdom of Upper Volta was there. But I added in the Mari Kingdom, which is right here. It's that all that yellow stretches all the way to the Emirate of Kudai. I added northern Nigeria, Cameroon instead of Cameroon, just name change. Congo is now an independent country. But I didn't change Portuguese West Africa yet. Basterland is its own country. So on and so forth. Yeah, there's basically there's plenty of stuff to do. And I added in a bunch. Like I said, I just added in a shit ton of. I probably have added like 12 new countries just today alone. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you should be able to do. And right now I'm just kind of ending the turn to see what happens. I'm not really playing this. I'm just kind of seeing what happens. That's interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. If this is, I'll put it up like for people who actually own. I didn't read what you actually said, Nick. What would look really cool is if you added the stretch of Lower and Upper Burgundy, the Low Countries, and Southeast France. These interesting results, perhaps. A state for Deseret. I don't remember where that is. Where is that? Deseret? Deseret? Okay, apparently I need to fix... This is something I need to do. I need to fix this. I need to make the southern states more loyal. Because this is fucking nonsense. Like, I mean, we're 15 turns in and states are already ceding back to the Union. It beats the fucking point. It beats the entire purpose of me creating a state down there in the first place. I'll have to fix that before I upload this. And what were we talking about? Burgundy. You mean like this area? Like adding this to who? Luxembourg, Italy, or oh, you mean here? Adding this like Champagne, Burgundy, and Franche-Comté. I didn't want to make the I didn't want to make Luxembourg too OP. Because given them those extra regions there, might not seem like much, but France has already been crippled, as opposed to how powerful they were in the base version. Like, I mean, look, they don't own half their empire has been carved up into various things like Libya Italy owned Libya, but yeah, like the Guernsey Caliphate and the Tunisian state and the Maris Berber Federation and the Mari Kingdom, so on and so forth. So, I mean, yeah. Oh, and the reason I concentrated so much on Africa for this because that was the only one that I hadn't done anything with. I've already done a shit ton of stuff with every other place that I'm pretty much happy with. Africa was the only one that still wasn't... Wow, that was a pretty... Okay, wait a minute. Things are happening. Okay. So, okay, so that was nothing different. All right. West Germany and East Germany. I don't want to do that because I don't want to further weaken. See you later, Grumpy. Have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. I don't want to weaken Germany any more than they already are. The major European powers still kind of provoke major happenings. So, like war. I mean, the countries, if you left them alone, eventually they would all declare war on each other and things would happen, so on and so forth. But it really gets spurred ahead by the colonial interests of the major powers, Russia, Hungary, or, excuse me, Austria-Hungary, Germany, France, so on and so forth. So I don't want to completely cripple them. However, I will say I could not have expected the Huescatan Collective would have been so epically brutal as they have been, and like in the playthrough, the actual Commissar's Djibouti playthrough. I could not have expected that. That was crazy. Like, I mean, they pretty much took over all of West Africa by themselves. It was brutal. It was really brutal. But Nick, to what you said, is there any way I can possibly send you historical maps or charts? You can post them in the chat. I'm cool with that. Yemeni Chad. You don't need to do it if you can, if you want. What would Yemeni Chad be? Because where's Chad at? I thought Chad was over here in the west, right? Like here in this area, I think, or maybe down here. I don't remember. I know it's in like this, isn't it? And then Yemen's all the way over here. So what would Yemeni Chad be? You can just explain it to me, like tell me the provinces or whatever, or like the actual locations, and I'll definitely consider it. There's certain countries I don't want to weaken anymore, like Italy. I mean, I cut off the whole southern portion of Italy and gave it to the Sicilian Syndicate, so I don't really want to make them any weaker than they already are. Germany, I gave off all that and gave it to the Königsreich, so that's a huge portion, and they've lost like most of their colonial holdings. France, as you can see, has a big chunk taken right out of it, and also lost most of its colonial holdings. So there's certain countries I don't really want to butcher anymore. They've already kind of taken the brunt of a beating as far as it goes. Well, it's... Oh. No, I mean, I could make a Yemeni Chad. Like, I could actually make it as a nation in here. It's just a matter of... what's the word I'm looking for? Knowing where to put it. Are the Emirate of Nejd and the Emirate of Jabai Shamar are at war? That's interesting. Let's see who wins between them. Looks like it's not... Oh, well, no, they might. They haven't lost anybody yet. But yeah, Nick, like I said, I mean, if you had a suggestion for something that you wanted to add in, if you have if you have a link, like Google it or something and just send it to me and I'll take a look at it. Because that's, something, even if you have a better name for a country that I've already got established, like there's a bunch of countries I don't really have like good names for, like Congo. It's just Congo. Cameroon is just Cameroon. And I'm happy with how the free cities of West Africa are turning out. They're impressing me. I'm glad. Glad they're doing things. Northern Nigeria. It's another one I just really haven't done anything with. One thing I am disappointed about, and I'm still kind of disappointed about, is despite all the time and effort I've put into doing this stuff with Asia, like Asia hasn't done much, which is disappointing. There we go. The Kingdom of Ireland finally broke off and established. This is it's a mod and a scenario. Like it's scenario I completely have created for making history using the mod editor on making history the Great War. So it's a scenario, but I mean it's a mod. Like I didn't really, aside from adding a bunch of new countries, I didn't add in models or anything like that because I don't think you can. And if you can, I don't know how. And I'm still figuring out how to do event systems and stuff like that. I was going to add a bunch of new like units into, but it looks like the game limits how many units are actually available. So if I add in units, I have to get rid of units. So like infantry 1, I could change it to something else. But I couldn't just add new units with the existing units, which is what I would want to do. And even then, I don't think there's ways to make faction-specific units, which sucks. An Arab Federation state of the Ottoman Empire. That's a possibility. What the hell? The Pacific Republic? Huh. That's interesting. Didn't expect that. Huh. Anyway. Right. Chad is west of Sudan and east of Nigeria. Okay, so it can't send the link. Well, Nick, do this. On the most recent video I've made, or not the Star Wars one that I just made, speaking of which, you should all go check out my Star Wars video that I worked oh so hard on. And this is my brainchild, my sweet little top 10 list. But anyway, go on to the Commissar's Djibouti number 10 recap and conclusions and comment the link on there, and I'll take a look at it. Man, me. All right. 20. I'm down in Florida. Sorry for the pause. Are you going to conquer the rest of the United States? I'm going to be a little honest. I'm not really playing this as much as I'm seeing what's happening. Sorry, I was checking something. But yeah, like I said, I'm not playing this so much as I'm just kind of watching things happen and going from there. I'm building an army to at least be able to protect myself should the barbarians in the south decide to come rolling on over the border. Make sure I have barracks and whatnot. What was the thing about Florida? Oh, you mean the Trump 2016 thing? No. I am from the South. I was kidding. My humor's a bit dry, so my bad. Let's see. Now, if I was going to create something out of the Ottoman Empire. This is what I was thinking about earlier. I could do something here. Just make this one whole country. Like from Kuwait all the way down through Al-Hassa, Al-Bayran, Mura, and Qatar, and the Trucial Coast. I was considering about possibly making that just one giant country. That could be like kind of a united Arab thing. Oh, can you see Oceania? Sure. Like this region, right? That's what we're talking about. I haven't done much with this, to be completely honest. Australia is still Australia. Because I don't feel like Australia does a whole bunch anyway. Now, that's not saying they don't have the potential to, mind you, because they do. They have a lot of cities and they have a lot of resources. So potentially Australia could do a lot. But for some reason, I guess they just don't. So, yeah, I mean, that's a thing. I considered making Indonesia just one country instead of the Dutch East Indies. So, again, there would be a little bit more activity possibly. But the East Indies doesn't have a lot of possible industry, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. They have more than I thought they did. I mean, that's a possibility. That's one I can toy around with. Just kind of make all that. Yeah, they actually do have a lot more cities than I thought they did. Goodness gracious. I kind of have already made Russia a bit smaller. I could make another country here. I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to weaken Russia too much. I mean, you've already got the Soviet, the Crimean Soviet Republic here. Then you've got the Cuban Socialist Republic there. And then again, you've got the Federation of New Transylvania right there. And then Romania, and then Hungary, and the Königsreich. I mean, Russia has plenty of possible external threats as far as it goes. And even then, later on in the game, one of the more interesting things about Russia is that they have crazy rebellions in the mid to late parts of the game. And that's kind of something I don't want to destroy the possibility of happening. So, I don't know. I might. I have no guarantees, though. See you later, Ness and Nick. You have a great night, man. Thanks for coming by. I need to do one of those cool, like, little donation box things. Like, if people donate, and it'd be like, you're awesome, you kick ass. Yeah. University built in Denver. That's good. I'm getting too comfortable. Leaning back in this here chair. That's right. There's too much like radicalism in the United States. Okay, well, at least Dixie has done better than I thought. The Democratic Republic of the Southern States. It's, aside from the loss of the Sun Coast and of the Inner Banks, it's doing all right. That's fine, Nick. Like I said, Nick, if you want to, you can just take the link and post it on my Socialist Cascadia has been founded by the Union of Socialist California. Interesting. Very interesting. Excuse me. Making history is not free, but my mod most certainly is. It's not even posting in the video comment section either. Oh, well, never mind then. I mean, if it's not posting, like, I wonder if it'll let me post a link in the box, in the box. Hold on a second. Let me see if it does in the chat box. Might be a browser. I mean, it might be. Let me see. Okay, yeah. See, it still lets me post. So yeah, it's probably just a browser glitch. Yeah. You should try restarting your browser. That might work. I can't condone piracy on small dev games like this. Plus, Muzzy Lane's really cool. They're really nice guys. So, I mean, if that's what you do, then that's what you do. But I would highly suggest you actually buy this game. Like I said, the developer's very, very small. Very, very small. And they're super cool. I was about to say they're always retweeting my making history videos. It's great. Like every time I post a new one, they're like, "Yeah, sure, here, check this." They're like, "Check out Commissar Bro stuff." I'm like, yeah. So it's funny too because, like I've been playing these games. I've been playing since the first one first came out. I've been playing this game, so I've always been huge fans of Muzzy Lane. The game itself is. Right now it's $30. For $35, you can literally buy all of the Making History games, which is 3 games. And untold hours of entertainment. Seriously, I've clocked like all these. Steam doesn't, like, I had these games before Steam, and I probably clocked thousands of hours on these games. But anyway, if you wait to the sale though, it'll probably really cheap very soon. Also, you should check out a game called Warlight. Is it on Steam? I'll definitely check it out. I don't think it's on Steam. To the mods? Excuse me. Are you saying like how do you get to the mods on Making History the Great War? Because I can just post the link to the actual mod workshop page through Steam, which is right. Yeah, this is the link. Did you post the link, Cookie Monster? Change to the Federal Republic of Redneck Stan. I just saw that. That was funny. Ugh.
Just look it up. Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. Is I'm gonna look it up here in a second to see what it looks like. Do. While it's ending that turn, might as well. Okay, give me a second. Let's see, Warlord. Alright, Warlord, play risk-free, congregate. Google Play, Armor Games. Oh, is it a browser game? Oh, no, it's an iOS game. Alright. Oh, well, you can play it on the browser as well. Okay, I see. Seems pretty nifty. I'll try to check that out sometime. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know why. Maybe because Nick Hickman was also saying the same thing. Was that it wasn't letting him post links? I don't know why. I don't have anything set to where it would do that, so I'm not 100% sure why it's doing that. I apologize. The YouTube streaming is still new to me, as far as it goes. Right. That's what I was about to say. That's what it looked like. That's actually what this game's a lot like too. This game kind of has a lot in common, especially the first Making History Gold Edition. Oh, I didn't expect that to happen. look at the little flag. It's like a little man. He's just like, yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Making History Gold Edition is very, very similar to Risk. Europa Universalis 4. Yes, there are chemical weapons in this game. Once you research gas shells, you can actually fire gas stuff like mustard gas, artillery. You can bombard regions with mustard gas and shit. Also, for Europa, I can speak because I'm an adult. Europa Universalis 4. This is the thing about that game. I'd love to. I've done it before. I did a very short series of it before. But there's so many expansions and there's so much DLC that I literally cannot stand playing the game without owning all the DLC for, or at least like 80% of the DLC, and then I would be fine. So if they would, if whenever I get enough money to purchase all the DLC, hopefully the next sale I'll be able to get at least a couple of them, and then the sale after that I'll get a couple more, and so on. I'd love to. I really would. I'm not trying to like say that, oh, I'm not going to play it, I'm above DLC. No, I don't mind DLC, as long as it's not day one DLC or pre-order DLC. But yeah, I just whenever I get enough money and it goes on sale and I can afford it, then most certainly that's something a lot of people have requested, and I've definitely wanted to do. But the game feels so incomplete without all that other DLC. There's just so many expansions that add so much content that seems necessary for the game. So just, eventually one day is my answer to that. One day. How easy is this game to learn? This game's pretty easy to learn, excuse me. It's probably more complicated than the first game, but it's simpler than the second game. Oh yeah, sure, Nick. I'll look it up here in a second, and I'll check it out. But this game is pretty simple. Playing as big countries like the U.S. and like Russia are a little overwhelming at first, but it's pretty simple. You've got your resources up here. So what I like to do when I play this game is I like to focus on making sure I'm positive in all my resources before I do anything. The only thing that I need right now, for example, would be metal. I'm positive in everything else. So you find a metal factory, basically, like a metal mining thingy. You click down here. And let's see, I've got coal, I've got oil, and I've got metal in this particular province. So what I would do is I would click expand output, and it would start producing more resources after every single turn. I'm glad you asked, Adam. There's actually I just talked to Muzzy Lane 2 days ago and asked them if they were going to be releasing a DLC. And they didn't say I couldn't say this, so I'm going to say it anyway. But basically they said they're working on a DLC about the Russian Revolution. I don't know what they're adding into it. That's all they told me. They just said the next thing we're working on is kind of like an expansion sort of that focuses on the Russian Revolution using this engine. So yes, there will be DLC for the new one. So yeah. How do I not get rebels? What do you mean? Where, like right now? In here? Well, because America's OP, so that. But if I was playing somebody else, generally you just focus on government policy here. Like you see basically where it says government support. The best ways to make sure your government is well supported, you don't have issues, so on and so forth, don't raise taxes too high. There's times where you'll need to, so you'll just have to do what you have to do, but also focus on like social welfare programs, support religion, propaganda, and so on. If you have things zeroed out, that makes radicalism increase. So you kind of gotta bump it up like that and start paying a shit ton of money. The United States, because it's so big, a lot of these programs are really expensive and they're really going to hurt your coffers. So you're going to have to raise taxes at least a little bit to be able to keep it under control. But you'll balance it out as you learn, as you get better at the game and so on. So you'll figure it out. You just gotta find the right balance. Try trading off some of your resources, especially if you have a lot of shipping capacity. One thing that I had a little bit of trouble about learning in this game was how the trading worked. It was really, really weird. It's very interesting, and I love how it's done. But it's also very weird. It's one of the few games, kind of like how Hearts of Iron actually worries about the fact that you need ships to trade. It's not like you can just say, here's our trade agreement, so let's start doing that. No, you got to have government-owned vessels and shit that actually do the trading you need to be done. So in this case, it solves that issue by having shipping capacity, railroad capacity, road capacity, so on. So like if I'm trading with a company or country, let's say Quebec, for example, if we go over here, we say propose trade access, and then be like, okay, I propose a trade agreement, and say, let's sell you 100 coal a turn. Now, because we're right next to each other, all we need is a little bit of rail capacity. Boom, we're good. Now, countries that you have to ship to, like, let's take, for example, the UK. If we go over to the UK over here, the British Empire, we click on them. Let's get that trade access treaty. Propose a trade agreement. Now, if we want to sell them coal, it's going to require 101 ships to do that. So, keep that in mind. When will I stop this stream? Well, it is 12 o'clock my time. So, I'll probably stream for maybe another hour or so. So, if you want to come back, feel free, man. I'll be here. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of a basic introduction on how trading works, how the resources work, and whatnot. I mean, if I need to explain more, like if there's more questions, just ask them, and I'll show them like how units are made, stuff like that. Just ask me, and I'll be glad to show you how it's done. So, what about World War II DLC? Not yet, and I doubt it, because this one's focused on World War One. The first two games are both focused on World War II, on the other hand. And this system works better for World War One. The way it works, like the combat system primarily. Excuse me. But, because you got the whole artillery being able to bombard a region. Like you see, I can actually bombard from a region away, so on and so forth. And I mean, it could work. It could still both work. It doesn't matter that much. But, yeah, I mean, the first two games are definitely focused on World War II, especially the first one, World War II. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Making History 2 at first. I'll even go so far as to say when I first played it, I hated it. But after playing the Buttery Bulgaria, like really kind of playing it and feeling it out, and they fixed all the memory leaks and stuff like that, I actually ended up loving that damn game. Like I found it took me a few years, but I finally played it and enjoyed it. And, you know, it's not that bad. It's not Making History 1, but it was an interesting direction they were trying to go. They were trying to make it a bit more in-depth. Like, see, the thing about Making History, the original anyway, is everything was under the hood. Like, the game on its surface was very simple. Yet, if you actually dug kind of underneath it, you realize that there was a lot more going on in the background. There was a lot more calculations. There was a lot more passive bonuses and stuff like that you just did not see on the top. So, I mean, that was the cool thing about Making History 1. Making History 2 tried to kind of raise some of that stuff to the surface and try to make it more apparent, to give you a bit more control over it, which is kind of a bad thing in a sense, like for the way the first Making History was anyway. Like, it tried to become more like Hearts of Iron. So it became really, really complicated, whereas the first one was much simpler. Again, that was one of the big things about Making History 1. It was always simple. It wasn't hard to play. So, yeah, Making History 1 is definitely easier. It's definitely easier to understand, comprehend, and so on and so forth. And I mean, I've played that one more than any of them. But this one, I really like this one because it's a nice mix between complexity and simplicity. And at the same time, it's very logical, so on and so forth. And all three of these games are highly moddable. So, like, there's mods all over the place. Making History 1, people don't really mod anymore. But, I mean, they're, like, from the day it came out to about a year and a half ago, people modded the shit out of that game. So, keep that in mind. Will I play Hearts of Iron? I'm going to be 100% honest. I am not a fan of Hearts of Iron 3 because I hate the supply system. I think the supply system is just ridiculous. Like, it would have made way more sense if you would have because, okay, what am I trying to say here? let's take this for example. This setup. The way Hearts of Iron 3 works is you have the general, you have the headquarters, high command, whatever. And if your troops go too far away from that, it decreases their effectiveness. Eventually, they start running out of supplies faster and whatnot. The way that system worked, the AI was way too fucking... Like, the AI is on top of that. Like, if it was turn-based, it probably would have been fine. But because it was real-time, it just was way too complicated of a supply system and a logistics system when it really should have been much easier. If they would have just set it up to where, okay, this region right here is a supply depot that supplies out to, like, regions 2 blocks away or whatever. I mean, to me, that just makes more sense. And I would have liked the game way more. Aside from that, I love Hearts of Iron 3, like, all the different unit models, all the, like, the events that happen in the game, and the various political stuff you can do, so on and so forth. That was great. What's up, Queen Alam the cow? And is it on Steam? Yes, it is on Steam. I think it's like $9.99 or something. The Ottoman alliance has now been formed between the Emirate of Jabal Shammar and the Ottoman Empire. Interesting. I did not expect that. Not that it's really that big of a deal. It's just against the Emirate of Nej. So, yeah, I mean, again, I like Hearts of Iron. I like Hearts of Iron 2, the complete edition, like with everything, was fucking amazing. I love that game. And Darkest Hour is fucking amazing. I love that game. It's just Hearts of Iron 3, the logistical system, I despise it. I absolutely despise it. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea. I know a lot of people enjoy it. A lot more people don't, and that's why I'm really like Hearts of Iron 4. I'm super excited for Hearts of Iron 4. I know I forgot to put it on my top 10 anticipated games list, but I am super excited for that game, and I'm really hoping it'll get me back into the series again. So that's one thing. Will you, me, Ahmad, when the Axis win the war, Germany's as one half and Japan as another half, I, the U.S., the Freedom State. Okay. I don't exactly know what you meant. I'm not sure what you mean. Like, make a mod with where the Axis win the war. So Germany owns one half of the United States, and Japan owns the other half of the United States. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you mean? Like Man in the High Castle? If so, there's already a Man in the High Castle mod for this game. Also, did I say hi, Rex Gamer? What's up, man? I don't know if I said hi, but if I didn't, what's up, man? How the South is a separate nation. Did they win the Civil War? Well, Underground Sausage. This is a mod that I made for Making History the Great War. So I added the South as a nation. I also added the Empire of Texas and the Union of Socialist California. So the United States is actually broken up into 4 different countries. Even then, you've got the Alaskan Republic up to the top left here. So you've got 5 countries with Quebec, 6 countries right there, to kind of just to nerf the U.S. because the U.S. is too powerful. Like in every game ever, the United States is way too powerful. Again, I get it. I'm American, so I get it. But still, like it's more fun when there's a struggle, when you actually have to struggle to be the best. That's what I like. So that's what I did. And again, I'm not gonna go into the whole long detail again because I've already said it like a million times, and the people who've already been in here have already heard me mention it a million times. But basically, in the scenario, I've created about 30 to 40 new countries, just to make more shit happen in the game, to make it crazy and for things to be cool like that. So yes, that's the purpose of this. You can actually get this mod on Steam right now, under the community hub in the workshop there. Not this version. I'm about to upload this version in a little bit for everyone. I'm kind of dreading having to write the description for it. That's why I haven't uploaded it yet. But yeah, this I'm going to upload it so that people can play it if they want to. Queen I'm the Cow. Do reviews of subscribers making history mods. Possibly. I might. In the future. I need to figure out what series I'm doing next first. And then once I do that, I need to figure out how I'm going to do... like how I would set that up, reviewing making history mods. The problem is I don't have time. I know I have time right now, clearly, to sit here and press the intern button. But on a regular basis, I don't really have time to play through an entire Making History, the Great War mod. Hence why this is a weird day for me, because I've literally been working on this all day, and I don't normally have days like this, because I'm doing videos or something like that. I just figured I'd take a break since I finally finished my Star Wars finale, my top 10 Star Wars game finale, which that whole series has taken me 3 weeks to do. So that's kind of was me taking a break from making any videos the next couple days. And not that I'm like sitting here trying to make excuses. I'm just getting to the point. Yeah, I might. It depends. It has to be one that really stands out to me, or that a lot of people are playing, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know. It also depends on which Making History. Like, are we talking Making History 1? Are we talking Making History 2? Are we talking about the Great War? What Making History are we talking about mod-wise? Because Making History Gold, yeah, I would probably do that, because I could probably play a whole mod in Making History the Great War in like 3 hours. That's possible. So, yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, what's the mod? What's it on? Will I consider playing a Superpower 2 multiplayer series? I don't know. I don't think so. I was going to with one of my buddies, but, you know, for personal reasons, I'm not going to do that now. And I don't see that working, like a whole multiplayer series of Superpower 2. I could see other games, but I don't know. Superpower 2 is, when it comes to multiplayer, like, I don't mind doing a live stream every once in a while. I haven't done one for a while because I'm hopefully going to be improving my internet before I do one again. At which point I'll be perfectly okay with doing them again, but I want to improve my internet so I can live stream it. I can be in the game, not cause lag outs and stuff like that. But as for an actual series, I don't know about that. Because I'm already so busy all the time. It just seems like I wouldn't really have time to schedule anything. That's like all the collaborations I've done with other YouTubers, why they don't last very long, or why I don't do them very often, is just because I'm always so busy, and I hate to start things that I can't finish, like because of scheduling issues or whatever. Like, me and Agrippa keep trying to do stuff all the time, and it's always because I'm something to do with school or just something to do with life, and I'm not able to. So I don't know. Maybe in the future, but I kind of highly doubt it. I wouldn't count on it. Now, do count on another Superpower 2 series. That's probably what I'm gonna do next week. Feeling pretty strongly about doing one of the mod, like, because I did a video not too long ago where I asked everybody what mod they would like to see on Superpower 2, and I think A Man in the High Castle was the most requested. So there's a pretty strong chance of that happening. So keep your eyes out for that. It's a very strong possibility, starting this coming week, Monday. But anyway, what mod, when for Superpower 2, can the world divided play as the old UN, not the Europe UN? I'm not sure. Probably Mr. Mondays, I guess. Honestly, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I couldn't answer that on that one. And what's the time? For me, it's midnight. It's 12:08. Hence why my voice is slowly starting to get less and less. Because I've been streaming for 2.5 hours at this point. 2 hours and 15 minutes and 14 seconds, because the timer is just so nice to keep track of that for me. Oh god, yes, I'm looking forward to Stellaris. Stellaris looks great. And to Queen Alam the Cow. Yes, Making History the Great War is great. I love this game. I absolutely love this game. I'm a huge fan of all of Making History's games. Or Muzzy Lane's games. I first started playing the first Making History back in like 2007 when I was in high school, I think. Yeah. When I was in high school. And I used to play it all the time. I loved playing, especially like playing as the Soviet Union, the game, because the Soviet Union was always a really cool country in the original Making History because of the fact that it started out very underdeveloped and very weak, but it had the potential to be the second most powerful country in the game. Like, still the U.S., you couldn't beat the U.S. in a one-on-one. Like, you just couldn't. But Russia came pretty fucking close. And China, I used to love playing as China, especially if I could get Communist China, because Communist China is always a blast to play as too. Like, if you can actually pull that off and take it over, it's fucking great. Fucking great. So, yeah. But anyway. But Stellaris. Oh, sweet bubbly goodness. Stellaris is looking sexy. And let me tell you, because I love CK2, I fucking love Crusader Kings 2. And I'm sure just about everybody does to a degree. I've yet to meet someone who's like, "Oh, this game is terrible." It's frustrating sometimes, and it feels unfair sometimes, but I mean, it's a great game. The concept, the stories, all that stuff is just phenomenal. So Stellaris is like right up my... Because my favorite thing about games like Galactic Civilizations and Sword of the Stars and whatnot, it's not really the empire management part of it. Don't get me wrong, I love that part. But really, it's like the exploration, the random events, just the story that is really created out of the game. It's not necessarily meant to happen. It's not really meant to create one scripted experience, but that's just what ends up happening, is like a really epic storyline is created out of what the events that happens in the game. And I mean, that's just, it's, yeah, I mean, you probably already know what I'm saying, and I'm just kind of repeating myself, but still, I mean, I love types of games like it's that whole idea of emergent gameplay. Like, I think that's like a discredited term nowadays, but still, emergent gameplay and like stories being created out of what happens. That's, it's one of the reasons I love Making History. I know I've said it like 400 fucking times, but seriously, that's one of the big reasons I love Making History, is because you get some crazy stories that come out of this game, and it makes it so memorable. It makes it so much more than just, oh yeah, I played a war game where I picked Russia and I beat someone's ass as Russia, whatever. It's more like, yeah, I was playing as Russia and I went to war with Germany, and the Germans came in through Sakhalin, which was completely unexpected, because why the hell would they have flown all the way to the other, or like gone all the way to the other side of the world? Or like even just the Superpower 2 series, like with the Rise of Djibouti. That wasn't scripted. None of that was scripted. None of that was planned. Like, it was all completely random, and I never expected to win. I expected to be dead within 2 episodes. And, I mean, I went from taking that tiny little piece of dirt right there and conquering the world with it. So, I mean, I like games where you have a story. And I'm just happy, like, with the Rise of Djibouti, I actually managed to record all that. So I had that story to show and to tell people. God, I can talk a lot. Is there going to be a Superpower 3? Um, I talked to Golem Labs, and based on what I talked to them about, they pretty much confirmed it. Like, I mean, they pretty much said there's going to be a Superpower 3. We just want to finish the Guild 3 first. Which, again, if you guys haven't ever played the Guild 3, you should totally, or the Guild 2, like Renaissance, don't even bother with the other ones, but like the Guild 2 Renaissance, totally play that game. It's fun. I love the Guild games. Especially, like, again, Guild 2, mostly the Guild 2 Renaissance. It's just fun. There's so much, again, it's another one of those games with that emergent storytelling, like, where as things happens, there's just more stories to it. It's just a fun little management game. It's hard as fucking shit, but it's fun if you can figure it out and how things work and whatnot. It's great. But yeah, from what I understand, there will be a Superpower 3. And you bet your sweet ass when Superpower 3 comes out, I'm going to be playing it. Anyway. Could you take over the world with New Zealand? Depends on what game. I don't think I could with this game. Maybe. I mean, they've got a couple of cities. Now, I don't know. This game's really hard to declare war on anybody because the AI is super defensive. The moment you start getting really, really aggressive, they will not stop from hunting your ass down and just giving you the shaft, my friend. Giving you the shaft. So, I don't think I could in this game. Maybe I could probably do in Superpower 2, but I don't think I could in this game. Nor could I in any other Making History. Maybe Making History 2. Maybe.
Have I ever played Victoria 2? Most certainly I have. I pride myself on playing thousands of games. And Victoria 2 is no exception. I've definitely played it. I'm not very good at it. It's kind of I'm not very good at Europa Universalis 4 either. I think the only one I was really good at, aside from Hearts of Iron 2, because Hearts of Iron 2, it was always really fun to like play as communist China with like two freaking territories like right there, Yunnan and Shaanxi, or Shenxi, I guess they call it in this one, whatever. Like you start with like that little territory and then like conquer all of China. That was fucking awesome. But yeah, I've played Victoria 2. Victoria 2 is a really fun game. Like I really like it. Again, I'm not very good at it, but I like to play as countries like Japan or China in that game. I like to play as China a lot in games because China's always fun. China's always that sleeping dragon type thing. Like you don't expect much out of them, but when you actually start playing them, like, oh, there's actually a lot here. Like, I mean, even just look at China potentially right now. What do you see? What I see is I see a shit ton of untapped resources. I see food, like, just by boatloads. Look at that, just like and just so much unused population that is just ripe for use. Like, it's just able to be used. And that's actually what's great about this Making History game as opposed to the first one is China can actually do something in this. Like, aside from just kind of being demoted to like you can only industrialize to a certain point before you just don't have enough coal to do anything else. But this one you can actually because coal doesn't just max out. Like, you can keep expanding your outputs and getting more and more coal, like real fucking life. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get that there's a limited supply of it's a finite resource, but I mean, coal is not that finite. There's a lot of fucking coal on this earth, and I find it really hard to believe that China just maxed out its coal production in 1945. I find that really hard to believe. So yeah. So yeah, that's a good thing about this game. Is what I'm getting at here. Also, we're talking about 94 likes. I don't know what you mean, man. Adam. Will I do a series on Victoria 2? Yes, I've actually already started one, but I'm going to be completely honest, and I know this is going to irk the shit out of people who got really excited to watch that series. I'm not going to play as Russia. It's too big, it's too much to worry about. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to play as Russia for that one. I've already played with Russia in like 4 series now, and I'm like, I want to play somebody else. I might play as Mexico. I might play as Moldova or Wallachia and create Romania. I might play as Japan or China. And I'm just going to be a selfish bastard on that one. Because like I said, I'm okay with playing games. Like, I'm asking you guys, like, what game would you like to see? I'm all for that. But, like, I don't know. It's got to be a country I like, at least to a degree, or that I want to play as. Because I mean, I like Russia. I have no ill will towards any country really, but like, I've played Russia so many times, and with the Europa Universalis and Victoria and so on, the way the supply systems are in the game, it's a country like Russia is just a fucking nightmare to play as. And like, just trying to march my army from the left side of Russia to the right side takes like 10 years. It's just like, ugh. No, it's just too much to worry about. It looks like West Africa is going to hell in a handbasket, which is good. That was kind of my intention. I'll think about New Zealand. I mean, I've never played as New Zealand in Victoria 2. So, I mean, I don't know if I could really do anything. But see, that's also one of the major limitations of the Paradox Interactive's games is time. Everything takes a long time to do in those games. So there's it's not like you have an unlimited amount of time to accomplish these objectives. You're always on a time limit to a degree. Yeah, sure, there's mods and whatnot, but I like to play within the boundaries on those games. So it just, I don't know. I mean, I'll take a look at it. I'm not saying no. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy or nothing. I'll definitely take a look, see at New Zealand. But you know, I feel like it would be more rewarding, like if I picked like if I set a goal, like if I played as New Zealand and like my goal was to take over like Australia. Okay, that could be fun. I could see how that would be fun, and just make it kind of a short series. That would be cool. But if I picked like New Zealand and I was like, my goal was to conquer the world, no, because you wouldn't be able to reach that. Like, I don't think anyone can do that in that game. And the Sicilian Syndicate is whipping Italy's ass. What is going on here? That is very, very unexpected. Who's bombarding that? It's not the Sicilian Syndicate firing guns. Huh. That's weird. Super weird. Yeah, taking over Australia would be fun to watch. Also, don't worry, I'm not picking my nose. I've just got weird habits that I do with my hands. Sorry, this is why I don't always have a camera on me, because I do weird shit with my hands. But anyway, playing as Japan and Victoria 2. I've done that. It is really fun to play as Japan and Victoria 2. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's great to sit there and take them out of feudal Japan, like you still rocking samurai outfits and swords and shit, and you upgrade them to fucking rifles and cannon. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I like that one, especially trying to do it as fast as humanly possible, because generally by the time that you do it, it takes it takes a bit of time. So by the time you actually manage to accomplish it, you've only got about 30 to 40 years to play. as a modernized Japan. But still, yeah, it's really cool. Especially like China. I don't know if any of y'all have actually played as China. China is a fucking blast. It's frustrating as hell though because of Russia. Like Russia is constantly on your ass. But if you are able to not get taken out by Russia, or you can contain the Russian issue, it's a lot of fun. See, and Jordan, that was actually what I was considering doing as well. Is playing as Wallachia or Moldova and forming Romania. I haven't done that. And again, Romania is another country I really like. I don't really know why. I don't have a reason for it. I just really like Romania. So that's always something I considered doing too for the series. All I know is I'm not going to play as Russia, really. That's the only thing I know for sure. I've done that in a million series already, and I love Russia and all that, but still, it's like, in the Paradox Interactive systems, playing as Russia is not very fun. Like in games like Making History, it is fun to play as Russia. It's a lot of fun to play as Russia. It's very challenging, yet it's not impossible. And you have a lot of potential to be pretty much if not like the second, if not the most powerful country in the world. So it's a lot of fun to play as Russia, especially like right now. You can play as Russia and do a lot of shit with Russia. So yeah, but yeah, I'm not for Victoria 2. I just don't. I don't have enough time to really learn the expert strategies for Victoria 2. What is my cultural background? Well, aside from me being an American citizen, I am actually like pretty much yeah, I love Making History. I fucking love this game. I know I keep like saying that. I probably said that like 10 times during this stream alone, but I am a huge fan of Making History. I absolutely love these games. As far as my favorite, like, not geosims, but like, I don't even really know what you would call this game. It's like a mix between a geopolitical simulator, a war game, and a board game. Like, I don't really know specifically what this is. It bothers the shit out of me because I keep wanting to write like a review or something about this game, but it's like I don't even know what the hell the genre of this is, so I don't really know what I would do for that. I mean, because again, it plays like a board game, but it's got the political machinations of a geopolitical simulator like Superpower 2, yet it operates like an Asiad type game, like a war game. So I mean, I don't know. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was getting to that. My cultural background. So I'm not Dutch. I'm Scottish, Irish, and Native American. Like, that's all of my stuff. RTS? No, this wouldn't be an RTS because it's turn-based. RTS would be like a real-time strat. Like Hearts of Iron would actually be an RTS. It's not your standard base builder RTS, but it's like a 4X. Well, you don't really explore in Hearts of Iron, so it's not a 4X. It's a geopolitical war game, like a real-time. It's a geopolitical real-time war strategy game. I don't fucking know. It's not 4X though, because you don't explore. You do exploit. You do it's explore, exploit, expand. Wait, explore, expand, exploit. No, exploit. Yeah, same thing. You do expand, you do exploit, and you do exterminate, but you don't explore. So it's not a 4X. I look Germanic. Yeah, I do, but no, I'm surprisingly not. I did grow up in Germany though. Like, I was I was raised in Germany, pretty much, on a military base. I remember in one of the Commissars Djibouti when Russia was being filled with rebel countries. That actually pretty much always happens. Once Russia goes to war, within about 50 turns of them going to war, that's just what happens. Like, they just get filled with rebels because they can't control their shit anymore. Honestly, the fact that I've created these countries right here has probably taken a lot of pressure off of them. Because, I mean, that's a huge chunk of their industrialized population that they're no longer having to worry about, like, pay for. So, maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. We can already see now, though, that the Ottoman Empire is starting to have some insurrections. This is probably, 50 turns from now, from where we are right now, is when I declared war on the Ottoman Empire in my playthrough. So, that's something to keep in mind. Have you played Civilization Revolution or any of the civilizations? Huh, the Bulgarian Alliance was founded. That's cool. Alliances that don't normally get created are being created. I'm okay with this. Have I played Civilization? Yes. I've played all of the civilizations aside from the first two. Those are the only ones I haven't played. I've even played Alpha Centauri, and Beyond Earth, and Civilization Revolution. So yes, I've played all the Civilization games. Civilization Revolution was okay. It was far too simple for a system. A turn-based strategy just works on consoles. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I know a lot of PC gamers they don't like console strategy games, I guess. I don't know. Basically, what I'm getting at here is turn-based is perfect for console games because of the controller setup. The controller setup's not the best for real-time strategy games unless they're in a base-building mechanic, like Battle for Middle-earth, Command and Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars. Those were perfect. Games that are too massive, like Supreme Commander, are not good for console. But Civilization Revolution, because the control scheme and whatnot was fine. I mean, it worked, but the game was too simple. It skipped past way too much stuff, and to me, it kind of dumbed down the whole thing. It was a good game. I mean, it worked, but it dumbed down the experience too much for my liking. I mean, you can play a game in like 30 minutes. It's crazy. A Civilization game you can play in 30 minutes. It's just okay. It's just weird. But I pretty much love all the Civilization games aside from Beyond Earth, which I think was a huge disappointment, a huge waste of potential. And how is the Sicilian Syndicate holding on here? Like, how are they doing this? Especially when the Italians have a massive fucking fleet. It's ridiculous. But anyway, Civ 5, like, my favorite Civ game is undoubtedly Civ 4 Beyond the Sword. That game is so damn good. There's so much depth to it while still being simplistic, like a simplistic 4X strategy game. Oh my goodness, the Titanic sinks. It's so terrible. Anyway. Sorry, I'm just dying. Excuse me. But Civ 4 Beyond the Sword is my favorite by far. Civ 5's good, like, especially when you add in the 2 expansions. It's good. It's still a bit simple. It lacks a lot of the depth and balance that Civ 4 had. Like, I don't understand at all why there's no anti-nuke. There's literally no anti-nuke in Civ 5. That makes no sense. That literally means the games always devolve into just nuclear shootouts. Like, whoever has the bigger nuclear arsenal. So, whoever's playing is Russia. Like, I played a game where we played 2 continents with my friends. And I was on one continent all by myself with just a couple of AI players who I wiped out, took over the whole continent, and I own that. And my 2 friends were on another continent with a couple of AI players. They wiped them out, and they took over that one continent for themselves. They split between them. They didn't get any uranium at all. I had 102 uranium. So it's like, I won. Like, there's literally nothing they could have done. I won. I've got nukes. You don't. There's no way to stop nukes. You can build bomb shelters, but it's like all that does is reduce 75% of the casualties. So instead of just dropping one nuke, let me drop two. Let me drop three. Let me drop four. Bam, I did as much damage as I would have done had you not built that. So just, I don't know, Civ 5 just... It's stuff like that it's like they made no concession for. Even in Brave New World, they still, even after 2 expansions, they still didn't add in anti-nukes. So, like, unless you're in a gentleman's agreement and you pretty much say, okay, guys, let's not nuke each other. But then you just get put into the really balanced land battles where there's no... Having a definitive winner is... I don't know. I like the combat system in Civ 5, but at the same time, I felt like it was just weird. Like, they could have done that better. I feel like they could have done it better. What do I think of the Command & Conquer games? I enjoy them thoroughly. I mean, I grew up on them, as most people did, I imagine. Like, I mean, Red Alert 2 is probably my favorite. A lot of people didn't like Red Alert 3. I did. I mean, it was definitely unbalanced. The Japanese were crazy OP. Crazy OP. And then that expansion came out and just made them stronger. Like, I didn't understand. I still don't understand that. They made the Japanese, like, unfucking stoppable. But whatever. But aside from that, I mean, yeah, I've been playing the Command & Conquer games since I was young. They're not my favorite RTSs, but I definitely do love them. I love the campy, the cut scenes. I love the acting. I love the music. I fucking love Frank Klepacki. I'm pretty sure that's his name, Frank Klepacki. I know it's Frank. I can't remember his last name. It's like Klepacki or Klepacki or something like that. But fucking, like, the Hell March, I love the Hell March. I used to listen to the Hell March while I was playing Making History and playing as the Russians and Making History and stuff like that. Like, love that. It was great. See you later, Adam. You have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. But, yeah, Command & Conquer. I love Command & Conquer. And then Tiberium Wars. Tiberium Wars was actually probably one of my favorites. Like, definitely. It was solid. And then they expand, like, Command & Conquer, pretty much like Battle for Middle-earth was Command & Conquer. Like, I mean, it was made on the same engine. It was made by the same people. It was pretty much Command & Conquer. Just Lord of the Rings with a different name. And I love Battle for Middle-earth. I fucking love Battle for Middle-earth 1 and 2. 2 is my favorite by far. But I love both those games. Those fucking great games. And Tiberium Wars 3 was made with the same engine that Battle for Middle-earth was made. Tiberium Wars, yeah. Tiberium Wars is made on the same engine as Battle for Middle-earth. And... yeah, it was great. It was hard. It was definitely hard, but it was great. Yeah, and then the Command & Conquer series ended, which, I mean, it's EA, first of all. Like, they abruptly end series because they're like, fuck you, fuck it, goodbye. Like, I mean, look at like, even series, or not series, but like developers who have a lot of potential, who have best-selling games of all time. Look at Pandemic. That was mind-boggling. I still do not understand why Pandemic was shut down. I've read the news articles. I've read as much as I can, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how they could have been hemorrhaging money. I have no idea how they possibly could have been hemorrhaging money. And they closed all those projects off. Star Wars Battlefront, Mercenaries, Destroy All Humans, fucking gone. Just all of them gone. It's stupid. Just fucking stupid. Did I like Command & Conquer 4? I'm going to be honest, I didn't really play it. I own it. I just didn't play it. Like, I'm sure it's alright. I've heard some really negative stuff about it, though. Like, yeah, I know that for a fact. I've heard some really raunch stuff about that game. But I haven't played it, so I wouldn't know. I'm surprised EA... I'm really surprised EA isn't on this fucking remastered binge like everybody else is. Which is crazy, because they're all about making money. to the point where they'll shut down prolific gaming companies for no particular reason aside from, oh, we're restructuring. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. You really think that they would do like remaster like the Command and Conquer games or like Battlefront? I don't understand. Like, I played the new Battlefront. It's fun. It's not the game that people want because I mean it lacks depth. It really does. It's the biggest problem with that game is not the animations, it's not the graphics, it's not the gameplay. It's the fact that it lacks depth because the gameplay itself is solid. It's perfect shooter gameplay. There's no depth to it. Without the Galactic Conquest, without a campaign, without a single player, so on and so forth, it gets so boring so fast. So why don't they just go and remaster Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, throw that shit into a $20 bundle and sell it? Like, I mean, I know I'd buy that. I'd buy that in a heartbeat. just to be updated to modern systems. Like, I know it works on modern systems, but it would be nice to have like updated native resolutions and stuff like that at least 1920 by 1080. Maybe just a couple of things like that. It would I literally just do not see why they haven't done that. I mean, I would have fucking gladly, just like, even if it was just a reskin, if just a basic little graphic update, I'm all for it. But EA, for some fucking reason, and I'll never understand, I just don't get it, but EA just refuses to remaster any games. It's like, they'll take old games, they'll resell the old game, really old games, like, not like, I'm talking games from like back in the 90s, like Crusaders No Remorse. Who still plays that shit? Not that it's a bad game. I mean, it's a good game still. Like, they'll do that. But, like, I mean, it's clearly right now, remastering games is a really popular thing that's going on, that people are buying into. I mean, I've bought every remastered RTS that has been put out. Impossible Creatures, I got that. Age of Empires 2 HD Edition, got that. Seven Kingdoms 2 HD Edition, got that. Rise of Nations HD Edition, got that. Age of Mythology HD Edition, got that. I'm still waiting on my fucking Empire Earth remake. I want this to happen. Again, why isn't this happening right now? Why isn't there an Empire Earth remake? I would be so fucking happy. But I guess they're never going to do that. I mean, Empire Earth 3 was fucking awful, but the first one was amazing. The second one was okay. I mean, you could at least turn around, just update Empire Earth to modern systems. Don't even have to upgrade the graphics. Just update it to where it works on modern systems like Windows 8, because it doesn't fucking work on Windows 8. Or at least it doesn't work on mine. It freezes all the goddamn time. And make that shit playable again. And I guarantee you got fucking money for days. Just simple. Get one person to do that. You could get one person to go in, update that shit, and make so much money. It's fucking mind-boggling. And to the question, do I play StarCraft? No. No particular reason why. I never bought into the hype. It's too much Twitch-based than it is, like, strategy to me. Like, you got specific build orders that you build every single time. And it becomes about, like, speed. How fast can you click? How fast can you do this? I mean, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If that's what you like, that's what you like. But it's not really my cup of tea. Like, I much prefer expanding gameplay that, like, changes every time you play it. Again, that's why I play so many war games and turn-based strategy and board games and stuff like that. It's because those games really let that type of emergent gameplay happen, whereas real-time, not so much. Like, well, games like Rise of Nations and Age of Empires, because you have, like, the randomly generated maps and stuff like that. It's far more, like, changing and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. StarCraft's a good game. I'm not saying it's bad by any means of the imagination. I played a little bit of StarCraft 2. I played, like, the first 3 missions of it, and, like, I was absolutely blown away by the presentation of it. Like, it was fucking beautiful. It was beautiful. So yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, and I was always kind of more of a fan of like Company of Heroes, Company of Heroes 2, those type of games. Like, I fucking love Company of Heroes. That's a good one. That's a good one. But yeah, yeah. Star Wars Battlefront basically became the new Call of Duty because it does like death, and they're already making the second one. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, that's pretty much what it boils down to. Is just that's my only problem with it. Is just it lacks depth, and I don't know how EA could have missed that. I think they just did that to the whole widen the mainstream, the for the more mainstream gamers and stuff like that. You know, to make it accessible to them, I guess. I don't know. See, one thing I never really understood is like with companies like take the Creative Assembly, for example, bringing down like the new Warhammer game that's coming out. To broaden the market, they keep the supposedly they release the Blood and Gore DLC to increase the market, right? Now, if I'm to believe that, that's fine. But based on whatchamacallit, a study that was done, it was pretty much getting the ages of gamers and whatnot. Like 40 to 50% of gamers were like in the 25 to 40 like 5 age range. I could probably look this stuff back up. But basically the average gamer is about 34. Now I know most of us in here probably aren't 34. But you know, the fact of the matter is though, the main market, especially on PC gamers, the average PC gamer is older than that. So with that in mind, like, why are you like pandering to a 7% audience? Like, that's what I don't really understand. Like, I mean, because even when I was a kid, like, I mean, I played Total War, yeah, but you know, I was playing Total War. Like, my parents bought me Total War even before I had the teen rating. Like before I was old enough to be a teen. I was a kid. I was like what 9? I was like 8 or 9 years old playing the Total War games. So I don't know. And I think that's what like Battlefront. That's what Battlefront did. Is they tried to make it more mainstream, so they cut out the depth. It's supposedly, at least that's what the executive said. Their CEO says, and to me that just stupid. Like I don't get that. It's just stupid. I mean, like, you're trying to make a game accessible. Okay, the multiplayer is perfectly accessible. It's perfectly simple. It's perfectly easy. Why would you leave out a single player? Like, to make it more accessible? It's more accessible because it doesn't have a single player? It seems like bullshit to me. Like, I don't believe that, but okay, if you say so. So, I don't know. This comment section is full of virgins. Go get a life. That's clearly a nice person. Don't feed the troll. Will you play Master of the World game? Yeah. It's another one of those games that whenever it goes on sale, it's still like $30 fucking dollars, like $30 to $40. It never goes on sale for super cheap. So like I never have bought it. Like keep in mind, my Steam account, the value of it is $12,000. That's how much my Steam account's worth. I've only paid around $3,500 for that. So, and that's over what, 5-year period of time? Nah, it's probably been a little bit longer than that, but still somewhere around that ballpark. So I don't buy games full priced unless it's a game I really, really want. Like
Total War Warhammer. I'm totally going to buy that game when it comes out. I'm not going to pre-order it, though, because that Chaos DLC is total bullshit. But I am going to buy it. I'm not even going to say I'm not. Man, I could reunite the North and the South in like 2 seconds. It wouldn't even be a thing, man. Wouldn't even be a thing. But I mean, with the whole Masters of the World thing, I don't know. I'll probably do it one day. I just haven't really do it yet. Well, EA can suck my duck. Such my duck. Good night, Commissar. Alright, Jordan. Have a good night, man. Why are we talking about jerking off? Let's try to keep the... Let's try to keep it, like... focused on gaming. That's kind of what I'm more interested in. Will you declare on the game right now? Yeah, sure, why not? Let's take the South. Show the South that they are not ready for some American steel. If you know what I mean. Yeah, I've heard of asexuality. If that's what you believe in, man. That's what you believe in. Like I said, I'm pretty much pure on universalist. So, like for me, it's if someone believes something, that's what they believe, man. Let them. More power to you. As long as what you believe doesn't harm anybody, I see no wrong in believing whatever you want. Except, I do think that Scientology is complete and utter bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. And the fact that that's even allowed is mind-boggling to me. But whatever. Okay, whatever. Religion is religion. You can't have one religion and then say this one's wrong because you think it's wrong. Even if it's just misleading and all that good stuff. Look, I just took over my state. I just conquered myself. South Carolina, yay. Brought South Carolina into the folds of Djibouti. I'm sorry, I'm so used to playing as Djibouti. From America. Playing as America right now. We ain't playing as Djibouti. Djibouti. What's my favorite game of all time? It's a tough question. I don't know. I like a lot of games. I could tell you what my favorite game of this year is. I could tell you that. Or... because I don't really know what my favorite game of all time is. I mean, there's so many games like that I just fucking love, like Star Wars Galaxies, KOTOR 2, Rome Total War, the original Rome Total War, not the second one. Company of Heroes, Dawn of War. I mean, there's lots of games that I would keep up in that top cat. Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne. That's another one. Fucking love that game. Classic. Excuse me.
Who pardon me, dearie?
Why is there two Carolinas? You mean North and South Carolina? I don't know. I don't remember. They just decided to be separate states. They were two separate colonies, I think. Honestly, I don't remember. Not right now. I could probably look it up and refresh myself and be like, oh yeah, that's why. But yeah, right now I don't want to give the incorrect knowledge that I couldn't name off the top of my head. So yeah, we conquered the South. See, I told you it'd be super fucking easy for us to do that. I'm kind of disappointed that Europe hasn't done anything yet. What making history do I like the most? I don't know. That's a hard question to answer because I think all three of them do something good. They all do something that the other ones don't do. So to a degree, they're all good. And they're all some of my favorite games. Like I said, the first Making History, definitely one of my favorite games of all time. Making History: The Great War, I haven't put as much time into, but I am starting to put a lot of time into it. So, I mean, maybe one day it could be up there. Making History 2 is another one like the Making History: The Great War. I love it now. I used to hate it, but now I actually very much enjoy it. And now that I've kind of I understand it, and I've actually had a lot of time to put into it and get what it's all about, as it were. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. They're all really cool. I'm not good at picking favorites. I'm really not. Like, I mean, I see good in everything to a degree. Like, you know, everything's got something that's pretty cool or that it does well. Declare war on Cuba. Cuba. But I mean, if I was just going off of nostalgia alone, probably the first Making History, just with how much time I put into it. I love that the Ottoman Empire is getting so aggressive over there. That's turning out well. I mean, they're doing some damage. I like that. And these guys, the Emirate of Jabal Shamar, that's something I've never actually seen survive, so that's interesting. What do I think of the airships in the game? I mean, they work. They're not the best. I mean, it's just like real life airships. I mean, they're not perfect. They're honestly pretty terrible. Like, once avionics technology got better, like aviation and whatnot got so much better, it's like what the hell? Oh, okay. The Union of Socialist California declared war on the Empire of Texas. That's interesting. But I didn't really finish answering that. I mean, they're functional in this game. From a fantasy perspective, I think airships are awesome. Like, who doesn't like Guns of Icarus Online? Come on. That game is fucking great. But, yeah, as an actual real technology thing, I mean, it doesn't work. It's a giant floating target. You imagine, like, especially like take today. Can you imagine, like, if someone tried to use an airship in today's war space, like in today's battle space, a fucking just a poor little little airship floating up and just F-22 Raptor, just pew, pew, dead. So I mean, yeah, that's clearly a joke, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Alright, so the Kingdom of America has been created out of the Alaskan Republic. It's no good for the Alaskan Republic because they don't have any cities. Interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how this fight goes. With the, I think it's weird that the Texans would go on the offensive, especially when they have a smaller, less advanced army. But sure, whatever, makes sense. I'm loving what's going on here, though, in West Africa. I'm loving this conflict. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Like, real big, intense battles involving hundreds of divisions all over the place. Do I like the Men of War series? I'll admit, I did not like the first one. I didn't like it all the way up to the Red Tide. But Men of War Assault Squad 2 is the shit. That game is awesome. It's very well done. I love the mechanics for it. I like that it's realistic, but it's not like beat you over the head realistic, like the originals were. It finds that fine balance between realism and fun gameplay, and I think it does that very well. And like I said, it's fun. I mean, simply put, it's fun. I like it. It's a great game. I can't wait to see what they do next. I mean, I know they're doing Call to Arms, but I'm not really impressed. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad. But them choosing just to focus on terrorists in the U.S. is kind of boring. Like, you could have done more at that. You know, there's fucking hundreds of armies that exist in this world, yet you chose the most advanced military in the world to fight dudes in fucking rags. So, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it's not my business, I suppose. I'm not the one making the game. It just seems kind of weird. What would your life be if the Axis won the war? Not this. I mean, I haven't read the Man in the High Castle, nor have I seen the show. I don't really know anything about it aside from the fact that Germany and Japan won the war. That's all I know about it. With that said, I've heard it's really good. And I mean, I've read or I've seen stuff about Harry Turtledove, like back when he used to do his little alternate history stuff. I don't know if he still does it. And I mean, it's been a subject that's been hotly debated multiple times. But I think it kind of boils down to the fact that even if Germany had managed to win Stalingrad or something, there's no fucking way. There's literally no way that they still could have came over easily and beat the U.S. and conquered the U.S. Like, logistically speaking, if they can barely get into Russia and all they have to do is worry about landlines, how the shit are they going to get past the British Navy, the American Navy, and, like, get past American air superiority at the time and do that? It's completely illogical. It's completely illogical. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess a lot of them explore the idea that the United States decided not to get involved until it was too late. But still, it kind of boils back to the point that Germany was ravaged by war. Its population was absolutely devastated by whether, again, let's just say hypothetically they beat the Soviets, okay? Like, they pushed them back, all the way back to the Urals. They took Stalingrad, they took Moscow, and they forced a surrender. they still lost so much manpower. They probably could have stopped an invasion, and they arguably could have established a fortress Europe that might have stayed, for at least for a while. But I mean, you still had the resistance issues. You still had the Americans being months away. By the time Normandy happened, literally being less than a year away from a nuke, from dropping nukes. I doubt the Germans would have been able to get nukes before the Americans did, based on everything they, like, all the resources they had thrown into fighting their wars. So I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm no expert. I mean, I'm a huge dabbler in history and whatnot, but I just don't see how in those scenarios, how Germany could ever get to that point. Like, because even if they beat the Russians, they would have, resource-wise, they would have been devastated, absolutely devastated. And there's nowhere they could push back. I mean, they still lost like the Italians and the Germans lost North Africa. Like, they lost that. They lost that back to the Allies. I mean, the Allies were primed and ready to go. And as time would have passed on, if resources are still getting thrown into building up the American military and whatnot, they would just outpace Germany. I mean, I think that's weird. Again, I'm no expert. Maybe I'm missing something there, but like, and I'm not demeaning the Russian sacrifice by any means. Their sacrifices in World War II were absolutely horrendous. The amount of people they lost fighting the Germans. But I mean, still, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't see Germany occupying the U.S. during World War II. I don't see that happening. I don't see how that could have happened, just with how it is. I mean, even like I said, the U.S. is being allied with England, has a fucking massive navy. The U.S. has a massive navy. England has a massive navy. Japan's navy doesn't stand a chance. It didn't in real life, and it didn't, it wouldn't then either. So, but what do I know, right? Again, I would love to read that book, though. Like, the book and see the show. I'd absolutely love to see that, because I've heard it's so good, and I would love to. I'm always interested in alternate history stuff. So, I'm being a cynical old coot. Have you played Halo Wars? And if you have, are you going to play the second one? Yes, I have played Halo Wars. I liked it. It wasn't the best game that I ever played. I liked it. It was well made. It was relatively balanced. There were some issues here or there. But, I mean, for the most part, it was solid RTS, and it was a shame that it never got brought over to the PC. With that said, it was great on the consoles, though. It was good on the consoles. I mean, it worked. As for the second one, yeah, I'm probably going to play the second one. It's probably going to be a while before I get to, but most certainly, when it comes out, I love to play it, give it a try, see how it is. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I really haven't played many games that I don't like. I like most games, even really bad games. I can find enjoyment. Even that temper tantrum game that was like 25 cents that I totally fucking ragged on and made fun of was a game that I actually enjoyed. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, it was okay. Like, I'm not saying it was like terrible, but the mechanics worked. It worked. I mean, it was a functioning game, and it didn't piss me off. So what really irked me about it was the fact that it was just made entirely of Unity assets that someone bought for like $500. That's really what fucking hurt. Like, just boiled my shit about that game. Speaking of which, it's 155 turns in, and look at how many resources we have. This is what I mean about the U.S. being overpowered. Like, there's no resource challenge. There's no challenge playing as the United States in these games. Which I get there's not really supposed to be. The U.S. kind of had it easy as opposed to everyone else, but still. It's kind of boring when you're just doing the same shit every time. Okay, so I think you should take over the Chinese Guangzhou island and turn it into an island fort, like Malta. I heard what you said. I think it was you who said that earlier about actually making it its own country. I'd probably do that. I'm not really interested in this particular playthrough of moving all the way over there and taking that over. That's a long way, and I don't care that much. You mean Hainan? You keep saying Guangzhou. Where's Guangzhou at? Where's Guangzhou? I don't know where Guangzhou is. I thought Guangzhou was like right there. Oh, that's Leiqiu, Guangxi, Guangdong. Yeah, it's Hainan. Is that what you were talking about? Com, will you make it so... What's up, Modding Productions? I didn't realize you were here. Com, will you make it so you can take... Okay, yeah. Henan. Yeah, I'll make that. I'll make that. Well, I can't make it its own country. It doesn't have a city. I might be able to add a city, or I might just add like Leiqiu and Hainan as a singular thing. Maybe. I'll think about it. I have to play on that one. Will you make this available? Yes. Because of the nature of this one, because I've actually been talking a lot and just showing gameplay and stuff like that, I'll make this one available. Normally I don't, because I have personal, like, I'll show, like, I'll accidentally show, like, information about my YouTube channel or something like that in the live stream or whatever, or I'll show conversations I have with other people and so on. I'm a pretty unprofessional live streamer, if you haven't noticed. But I'll make this one available, because it's pretty much just been me talking about my opinions about stuff and playing a little bit of games. So yeah, I'll make this one available. I don't mind. Just so if people want to go back and look at it, they can. Would you like to make your own game? Sort of. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure every gamer to a degree wants to have their own game that they can do, but I mean, I'm one of those people that I don't have a specific game I would want to make. I see games and I see ideas, like I see ideas they come up with in games that I would absolutely fucking love improved on. If I had a limitless budget, I would take like those games and make them what I could, assuming it was unlimited budget, unlimited time, which unfortunately in the very tragic case of humanity we do not have. So but yeah, I mean, I would make a proper sequel to Knights of the Old Republic 3, for example, if I could. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I would do. But at the same time, I don't think I'm the best person at making stuff that would be fun. Like, I'm not very creative kind of thing. Like, I don't think I ever have been. And even like with a lot of the stuff you see in my channel, I'm not super creative. Also, this is interesting. Ireland has been formed into two countries, the Kingdom of Ireland and the Socialist Ireland. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm not super creative. I'm not good at creating things, I guess. This is kind of like why this scenario is my baby right now, because this is one of the few things I've actually created myself, despite the fact that, I mean, all the tools were given to me. It's like, here's the blocks, put it together. So it's nothing special. Just, it's nice to make something every once in a while. Plus I keep making all this artillery in Detroit. Oh, sweet Detroit. So it looks like the Empire of Texas is going to lose. I mean, again, I kind of expected this. This isn't super surprising. I mean, they're holding out, but they're not going to win. Especially trying to get through here. San Francisco is a fucking fortress. Like, and I built it to be that way. It's to be like a crazy powerful fortress. So I don't know how that's going to go out. Probably not very well. I'm sure we'll be fine. We're just hanging out, doing our thing, painting the toenails. Waiting for our opponents to do something worth noticeable, if you know what I mean. Yes, we're going to do that move there when we can. Alright. Am I going to vote for Trump? No. Absolutely not. And that's as far as I will go with that. I do not approve of him, his methods, what he says, whether he's saying it for attention or he's just doing it because he's a dick. I don't know. Either which way. Nope. The Kingdom of Italy established Italy. Huh. Huh. That's weird. My military readiness is fucking awful. It's like 14%. What time is it? It is 1:12. Wow. So I've been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes. Do you guys have any last questions? Because I'm about to wrap this up for tonight. Because the Commissar's got to take a little nappy. Because then I'm going to wake up tomorrow and then I'm going to stream more or record more videos. That's right. I still got a Christmas special to do. I got another top 10 list to do. And Monday, I'm going to start doing superpower stuff again. So keep that in mind. I think I'm going to do superpower too. I've been really thinking about it. I don't know yet. Maybe. Strong possibility. Final question of the night. Am I a socialist? Jesus Christ. No, honestly, I'm probably more of kind of an authoritarian, really. Like if I had to choose. I've taken all those little political compass tests and they always put me right next to Gandhi, but just in my belief system and how I think things should be operated. I'm not saying that I believe that the government is completely hands off. I believe that the government can do a lot of good things and can provide a lot of good benefits to the people, especially those who need it. Not everybody needs it, mind you, which stuff like that should be regulated. But I also believe that a government should allow its people to operate and live their lives as best as they see fit. I believe the government really should be there to be as kind of like a big brother, kind of guiding your hand, not telling you exactly what you need to do, but giving you helpful advice where it's needed and making sure you follow the rules. I don't believe in that whole police state stuff, but again, I also feel like one person's more effective than 1,000 idiots. So, I mean, again, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And am I doing a Christmas special? Yeah, I'm going to admit, it's not going to be as good as last year's was, at least in terms of the scripting, the writing, and whatnot. I had a lot of help from a buddy of mine who really helped me kind of hone that script and really make that script what it was. Like, 'cause I mean, I wrote the whole script a year prior to even doing that, and it was, you know, it was a little sloppy. I always, because I get lazy and I don't want to revise a script, so I make mistakes sometimes. But he helped me. He sat down and helped me for like a week, rewrite that whole script, like kind of touch it up, not rewrite the whole thing, but make it sound better. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that this year. So, yeah, this script for this year is going to be much shorter. So it's basically just kind of a nod at last year and saying that just you'll see it when you see it. But that's basically what I'm going to start working on. Is I'm going to touch up the script on that, and I'm going to move on from there, and hopefully it'll be out in about a week. Hopefully, unless I just go into super slacker mode and I'm not able to do it at all. So yeah. Sorry, I ramble when I don't have a particular topic I'm focusing on. Let's see if we can get to turn 170. Again, I'm kind of disappointed. It's August 20th, 1913. By the way, thank you, Underground Sausage. Thank you, sir. But it's 1913, and the only interesting thing that's really happened is the just complete fucking bloodbath that's going on in West Africa. Like, there's no major conflicts going on anywhere else in the world. There's no... The Great War didn't start early. I think a big reason that started, though, was because of Djibouti. Like, me playing as Djibouti and then getting declared war on by Italy is what sparked that whole thing, because France kind of considers Djibouti to be its area. So with that getting declared war on, it was kind of like it had claims on that land and thus declared war on Italy, and then Germany declared war on France, and then Russia declared war, and so on and so forth. You guys know how the alliance system works. So I feel like that's the whole reason something actually even happened. So we're kind of getting gypped this playthrough. And the Huescatang Collective declared war on the Guernsey Caliphate. That's interesting. Those Huescatang Collective guys are some war-torn motherfuckers, man. They do some crazy shit. Well, I think that's a good place to stop. Oh, is it really? Get gold. Don't buy the original. Get gold. Like the gold edition for Making History 1. Because Making History 1 and the gold edition improves upon it a lot. Yeah. I mean, the first one's still good, but the gold edition makes it better. So, just FYI. Like, let me see. Oh. Okay, yeah, I see. Making History the Calm and the Storm. It's $1.24. Yeah. Okay, and this one's still $9.99. Well, I mean, it's up to you. You can grab it, most certainly. In my opinion, I really think Making History Gold, which is, here, I'll show you, is this one right here. This one. This one's the improved one. Like, I don't know. People are... The colors got weird. Like, they got brighter or something. But I think this game is just... There's no point in getting the first one if you get gold. I mean, you can get both. It's really up to you. I own all of them. I own multiple copies of all of them except for the Great War and Making History 2. So that was whatever. Whatever you're into. See, like, I mean, there's people who just don't like it at all. Like this guy, for whatever reason. Yeah. It's $9.99. I mean, it's not on sale right now, but you could probably grab Making History, like just the original one there, for $1.24 now. And when this one goes on sale, because this one will definitely go on sale for the winter sale, I know it will. You can just grab it then. But I mean, that's up to you. Like, if you've just got money, a little bit of money laying around, it's totally up to you. I'm just recommending it because that's the one that I basically played. Like, I played all of them, but you know. I'm not touching chess again. Battle chess. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's battle chess. Have you got nuclear weapons on Superpower 2? Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing Superpower 2 for like 8 years, so I've done pretty much everything there is to do in it. The only thing I haven't done is won a game as Vanatu. That's the one thing I can't do. I'm not good enough for that. I'm not the real champion that game needs. Man. getting these bots. Yeah, I'll check out the Warlock game as well. I'll definitely check that one out. I'll probably check it out tomorrow when I ain't so tired no more. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Commissar Bro. I'm basically just wasting time at this point. I'm gonna head to bed because you know it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning where I am. But thanks for watching, though. Seriously, it means a lot to me that you guys stick around and, you know, just listen to me ramble on and talk about nonsensical stuff and, you know, give my undeserved opinion and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Anyway. All right, peeps. Good night. And I'll see all you amazing people next time.